The Titans, we up. Hey, me tell you, no lady. What lady Titans?
Boy, I'm there, my brother, I'm there, man. Melting pot, they have to cook up something today, you know. Yeah,
Uh,
some boy have some things where we have to put in a melting pot here today. But, you know, as time
uh,
goes by, throughout the program, we'll get there.
yeah, man.
Just
People,
want to bless up the people, them too, you know.
yeah, man. What bless them up? Come here, tell us something up on the road. And remember, since we have well, today I marry our Earth strong. So, you know, for bigger sister, you know, so we
Yes,
try.
Sister Maria, big up, man. One more upon the notch, man.
Yes, and
Happy
then,
Earth strong.
you know, so all road leading to New York City, you know. You know,
Yes,
I gonna lead that all road lead to New York City. And then Saturday now, you know, we have the back to school, their treats. And we have
yes,
the fun day too, you know. Mother, father, everybody. We're not gonna see it because we're gonna stream it live and everything. So
yes.
I see that. And then next week, you know, so we're gonna party and deck. So enough thing. But we have nothing for to talk about around here. Like over there, you know. I could have start the show right now, no. We now waste no time. Yeah, brother? All right.
Yeah, man, yeah, man.
Titans, where are you? Yeah, man. Where
Yeah,
you see?
man. Live and live in color.
Yeah, man. Them know well busy, you know, but from the people, like, assist my big arrow because I think them I'm just try to watch a car, you know. I wanna be big fan, big fan. Big fan there. No leave out can't do without we, watch we straight. So, you know, run down since that. I just try to check out still. Right? Yes, so yeah man. So Mary Rose, big up yourself. Yeah, Mary Rose, big up yourself. Shout out right now, watch. So big up yourself, So me and my man just drive. So me do about 200 kilometers just now, I do that.
Mm.
Just drive along there so then I have to do a couple more stuff and then I'm up on the road and that's right away, the latest. And then we have too much thing I deal with, for that Saturday thing and them thing they say. You know what, go already. But yeah, this one,
Yeah,
we
man.
could start now. Like the Titans, we could start this now. Yes, we could start this. We want to start it from this, people. We could start it from here, so. Because the hospital, we get something from the hospital yesterday. And it's nasty, man. It's nasty. And then I see Christopher Tufton come out. And the man said some little things and I say, it a put strain. But I don't say that because remember we tell you, people, we don't do tabloid. The truth.
No.
And after we don't there for the tabloid and the propaganda and that thing. We don't know that. Saying we don't know that. Just hold them accountable. And you notice how the Prime Minister has faced him murdered from the other day. He might drop the word around yourself, but
Yes.
you might drop the word from the eagle because when the eagle after that already. Saying? Not true.
Yeah, man. The evil, it's a deterrent factor to them, Send shockwave and all them things there right through them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good.
A good thing. Good thing.
Yeah, of course.
The government have an opposition for all them. And we this time say, okay, at 14 round there, so I want to have 49, not the Baba and the 48. It now work away. They want to just come and tell the people them be alive and say, I think that did it. And then the people them run with the one and say, the police them like practice that too. Like come here go well as check too. And them think they want to stop that thing there. When I talk to the people, make sure the thing will not come out with. Right. Me could have
Of
started
course.
the hospital first and play when they think Campbell said that's right so. Watch this.
It's said that 1 in 7 Jamaicans is likely to develop kidney disease or related renal issues in their lifetime. This statistic is just one of the reasons General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, is hitting out at the government again. Dr. Campbell says the wait for dialysis is just too long.
At the Kingston Public Hospital, there is a waiting list for dialysis that is 8,000 people. I mean,
8,000 people in that, sir? At Kingston Public? Let me get the top one.
Yeah.
Well, let me get the top one now.
University Hospital of the West Indies, there's a waiting list for dialysis that is 6,000 people. It means that if your kidney go bad, you have to go pray to somebody with the list, on the machine now dead, so you can go on it.
In Campbell's view, the woes of a dialysis patient don't stop there. He also says the average Jamaican cannot afford the high cost of health care.
It costs $10,000 to $12,000 per treatment, and you have to do it at least 3 times per week. So that is at least $30,000 per week. 4 weeks in the month, $120,000. The dialysis treatment for the same month is 120, 2 times the minimum wage. So anybody who would have minimum wage who's kidney no good, you know where you go.
Meanwhile, Dr. Campbell also had a diagnosis for the agricultural sector, insisting Jamaicans haven't maximized on the country's agricultural potential. He explains different farming opportunities can be made available in urban spaces.
The matter is dire, it's serious. It is at a breaking point. But somehow, we have not sufficiently educated our people about agriculture as a viable option for them to transform their lives. If you live in a town, you can do hydroponics. Right in your little yard space where you have there. You can set up hydroponics. Hydro mean water. The nutrients are in a water solution. And you don't have to use soil. So you can literally use some PVC pipes. Boom, 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 set them up so.
He adds the concerns are not politically motivated, but are centered around positive change.
When we say we need change, we don't mean say just because we don't like labor rights and because we are PNP. We need change because people's lives depend on change.
Right.
Courtney Lewis.
I'm right. So
Yeah, man.
This earth made, you know. This is earth made now, right? Like it. Because inside the dialysis machine.
Yeah.
One out of every 7. I got updates. Every 7. Out of every 700 is that 100. Out of every
Yes.
700. Out of every 7,000 is that 1,000. Out of
You're
every
right.
700,000 is that 100,000. This high.
Very high.
High. The population where I get like 2.9, that's only 3 million. It's very scary for a population like this when you hear that. See? Because when you do that, no, you know, sir, if you say 2.1 million people, then you look on 300,000 with kidney.
Right. Exactly.
You understand? So what you think about, and then you can't pay the thing. You can't pay. You understand? So people have there on the dialysis, they have to pay for who dead for you go look out. And then if you get it for one time, I clean the little toxic from your blood.
Mhm.
You are. So this way you just start dangerous. But you still spend the most money. These are the things I'm talking. And that's something very important too. Him say, you know, everything to them now, when they were in opposition, them nobody say, them tell the thing. No, when them attack, them say people are politicized. Yo, go and use the word politicized to not drop down. What's that? Them are labor right. And them umbilical card touch.
Very much so, sir.
come first. You understand? We don't know the foolishness with them, you know. When them not have nothing else to talk, them just come and talk some little things and things that them can trick people. Not working on us. Not working. Yes, like.
Well, you know, the whole medical system is a problem. And the problem is a problem that should never occur in the first place. Because when you have hospital, you know, first and foremost, you have to kit out the hospital as it relates to all the equipment that a modern hospital should have to facilitate the needs of the patient who attend such institution.
Mm-hmm.
So, from the Minister of Health point of view, we see where that minister and his ministry has failed the Jamaican public miserable. Because we've been crying out for dialysis machine for longest of while. And we have heard that it's not so much of a problem as they present it to be. We are being told that if you are in collaboration with the people that manufacture these things, you can also get dispensary package in terms of getting some form of help in regard to servicing these machines. So why has the Jamaican government and the Ministry of Health not take that in consideration and kit out the hospital with the dialysis machine? The only reason I can see for them not doing that is because they are uncaring government. They don't look after the elderly who are more susceptible to these type of disease, kidney failure. The people that work tireless for decades to build the country are left to suffer in the twilight of their time on earth. So that just show you the uncaring government that we have currently running Jamaica. So we want a government that understands that a healthy nation give you a wealthy nation long term.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not a saying that, you know, we're gonna take lightly. It's factual. If you
Mm-hmm.
wake up and you're not feeling well, how can you go to work? Or even if you go to work, how can you perform to your maximum capacity? You can't. So looking after the health sector is a priority. Should be a number one priority. But everything under this government, they push it a backstage. The only thing where this government deal with, you know, is corruption, lies, trick and con. Them don't work. I've been highlighting it all along. Them raise them salary and they perform miserable after the salary increase. Because we expected to see better performance, but no, instead of better, we see worse performance. We see man a jump all ship. You know, I am the captain for that ship and him jump it. I let the ship sink with a whole heap of people up on board. The entire country is on board of that ship. But we have to ask question as it relate and as it present itself. And we see where failure is, you know, the order of the day with this Jamaica Labour Party government. And them thrive upon failure. Because after relieving ourselves from IMF and the IMF subordination, we've been plunged back into IMF and all the austerity measure that comes with IMF. And our financial system in the country is non-existent. Because when you have to borrow from these loan sharks, just to make sure you have a certain amount of money sitting in your reserve, that is a disaster for recipe. That is a disaster. It's a recipe of disaster. We're not growing ourselves out of this crisis. We're borrowing ourselves out of it, and we can never borrow yourself out of debt. When it comes with the high exorbitant interest rate as it relates to IMF, there's no way a country can borrow itself out of debt and then been told how to spend the money that you borrow. That's ludicrous.
Make a break down, so. Can we think about that too? Because this is a part of the bad management. But we just talk about with the
Yes.
people are suffering.
Yes.
Bad management and the honest-led government, we're not good. And people will tell him the truth. We don't go on corner and talk on it. And we're not big nothing. People will tell him the truth. Yeah. Bless up, bless up. See? Bad management. So you see what them do a thing named PR and trick the people them. We go on here, so we make sure come and talk to the people them and show them as is. Because you have some guy who love wear jacket and tie, and the immaculate, yeah. The kind of all them sound, immaculate.
Yeah.
So yeah, them sound articulate. So when them sound are weird, neat and dress neat and then talk articulate. So you say, yes, the man that him said this and all we don't talk about that one bag of bullshit. And you there in situation. They could look on the IMF and World Bank. Psalm 1944 IMF. Right? So help out some countries after, well, in a World War they said farm because 44 World War not done around 45. And then after that the Korean War and then you have other wars after that. Just look up and you see. Okay? Them farm that. After you move the chain, them farm this to keep a mental chain for our people there. To get rid of yes. But it look, I don't really do nothing for you. If you farm something and it's so good, from 40 years, right now the world them that's called the world of poverty and everything. But every country where them going on, when them come out, it left it poor with mash up and your money devalue and all kind of thing. Something wrong. Something wrong.
Radically.
Let me show you. All right, let me break it down for you, brother. So them come in, you don't have nothing. Right? You don't have nothing, you can borrow money. You can't pay your teacher them properly, you can't pay your nurses, you can't pay your doctor. And them come in, but you think them are just sending your money now, and they carry up your contract pay it back in. Now when them come in and come to you with backside and them say with some other things that them want. That's for them country want. And you're $1 for $1, stand up same way, if you trade something, sell something. And the man them the first thing them come in and say, listen me, devalue your dollar. Because it's not valid that. Who will tell you that? Where you come up with the idea the because them want
dictatorship.
Nothing.
Yes.
Remember, them make freedom dollar, turn the almighty dollar and well powerful, them kind of dollar. They will never fall. Some people don't get the truth like me, but when I look through to they understand. Right? It's like you, I don't know your work. When it was dollar for dollar, that means if I carry sell for 10,000 and 10,000 a year money same way.
Exactly.
If you sell for 10,000 and 1.6 million a year dollar that So it's hard for you work that 10,000 there where you used to work. It's hard for you work that now in a year currency. Can you have to work it and change it out, right? It's harder you go. So even when you have a bank account and say, well, I have a 500,000, but we have 500,000. Wait for that, right?
Nothing.
1,000, little bit over $3,000. I can't work so long and you don't have 500 grand. Can you devalue your money? Why? So when them come for their money now, them come with less and can buy out everything where you have raw material. And then make the raw material and sell your back. You're losing a double, triple, or more.
Triple. Yeah.
Eh? Because you give them the raw material, you build up the factory now. And then make the goods with it. Then have the raw material now. You have it. That means, but if you have the raw material, you should build up your factory. And you deal with the thing. And that will make your country rise fast. But no.
Of course.
Like IMF and them real sharp them. Real loan shark him. See, and I'm a third world country, them hold on. No cute country, them going out, it make it better off.
No. It's worse off when them, it's worse off.
Yes. Because, you know, when we break it down like this, more people understand what we are saying. We understand the whole thing. Them come in and them say, freeze wages. Now that I hurt them more in people. Because me I work, me a police and me I work on my wage free, no wage up here. Although everything gone up, my gas, my light bill, you know,
Yeah, man.
my protect bus, everything, medication, everything gone up in my country. Your rate,
Interest rate,
because
everything gone up.
yeah, disciplinary, some action, some them want to take some discipline or you spend. But them call it
Austerity measure.
no, I'm not talking about the activity measure. Them are talking about, you know, the government to have some discipline or them spend money and all them so them are you know, create a thing that, you know, put the government on track, all them to spend and cut. The first thing them do know, them come and say, you cut staff. Remember, you know have enough staff already. Hospital, teacher, you don't have enough teacher because you saw the classroom them have to pack them up. You don't have enough, you don't have enough nurses and doctors and things. But them now you borrow 2 billion and then tell you, cut your staff. You don't have the money to pay them, cut it. Remember you borrow the money for can't pay and you push back yourself. Them want monitor your thing for you. But pity you don't know that when you cut and let go those nurses, for them country want them. After your country train them, you help them. They might have to pay them money, yes, but you train them up. For them country short and nurses, so them just say, come, me give you a better job, recruit them and take them. No, you work a charter nurse now. And the money with them lend you back, remember you have to pay it back with X amount of interest. What that do for your country. But now do not for your country, it mass them up.
Yeah, man. Brain drain your country, the value your country.
So what them
Do everything that's bad.
Them don't want nobody where you have to roll out your hand nickel. Them want your skilled workers. They make you lay them off and them take them. Front of your eye. And you never see. And you still, when you jacket and time, take one bright and one have the biggest brain. When I talk brain in our skull. When I talk the brain, so one have the biggest brain. Maybe a skull big like one of them a shark, the brain or something. Yeah? You understand? But they want your workers, them will train up. Your skilled workers. So them take them, because them tell you to lay them off. And you lay them off. You do lay them off. Physical discipline. Lay them off. Yeah? Austerity measures, Do this. And then when you look, you shout at everybody now. You shout at nurse, you shout at doctor, you shout at this. And them I tell you what to do. But at the same time, the country where they come from, I take them. And you tell me, say, you're government, and you know better than this, and you have much people advice, like all, you agree them advise people. And you take that and listen to them. Me tell you some of the fact is either them. Look here, who you hear at all like them bright, them not really bright, them are shit. Them are shit. But simplify it, look through the thing, brothers and sisters. Simplify it. Because everything, all right, it don't make no sense, a man come to and run your son. Because everything equal to this. It equal to either you want to uplift the place, people are work, or you uplift the place, or the place are a mash up. It equal to either you uplift the country to make it better off, or you could follow what them do, and you sink the place more. And then nobody would not PR because we're dive into the PR and slice it up and show us their PR. It don't make no sense. So them not stand to nothing for we. No. When them come and say, them for proud, I like it. Proud I am because Jamaican first man, this is where the Prime Minister come out to the middle, he that self for the PR. Again. First Caribbean and carry the flag. Or if you can work with IMF and you carry a flag. You see what IMF do with country before. Who knows that? See? Yeah,
But that's a garbage, where the Prime Minister come and talk saying a win. Because that's another achievement.
That I am sure there's not an achievement with it. And some other company where I work. He said the IMF are going to African, some third world country and come with the same kind of measure. So mash up.
Austerity measure. Mash up the country them. Keep the country them poor. Because
and you can't get out of debt, and too much years you owe them much money. You take this, and when you pay it off, you still have this and the interest will go up on it. So it's like them stuck you. Loan shark then. See? And you don't understand that? Some man put on a jacket and say my professor and come tell you about that shit. All they need to do. Instead of people go run with them, can't go run me now. Because this bag of yapping with them and them not work with me around here. So him a more disgrace to Jamaica than you talk about race flag. Race flag with what? Eh? And by the way, the money when I get in a benefit, in have nothing for benefit Jamaica, nothing. The money when I get a fee pay. He might just a water boy, he can't do nothing to Jamaica neither. In the
No.
I tell him to go and cut toenail and go for them water. Yes. You understand? Yeah, man. So,
Yeah, man, it is like a 12 man in a game of cricket, you know. Just carry water, go up on the field, go get the players them out there. Because I'm not really, not no power. Not no power, you know. For him have power, he would have to be the top man.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But you see, one of the things where really baffle me, you know, is that Jamaica allow IMF to manipulate the country from our strength of 1-for-1. And, you know, we watch it, the value, till where we are currently today. But the first man where bring IMF come at Jamaica, you know, everybody know who, you know. And them did say was one of the top 5 brightest in the world when it comes to finance. And then plunge Jamaica into the hands of the IMF, and from IMF grip we all know we can't release. Yeah? And IMF was introduced to Jamaica under the same Jamaica Labour Party regime.
6 years.
Right.
Money, you know, and then they thief up some money too, you know. May have the report, by the way.
Yes.
1973.
You know, so from that disease that catch Jamaica, we not rid ourselves of it. You understand?
Yes.
Under the PNP government administration, we relinquish that task, pay up the debt free to IMF. And as the Jamaica Labour Party, them come back in, them run right back to IMF. Because IMF are one of them senior counterpart, you know. The capitalists them. The Jamaica Labour Party thrive off of capitalism. It now have nothing named self-reliance, where you know say self-reliance a manly thing. Or if you grow yourself out of that as a country. Or if you stand on your feet and also gain recognition internationally. Because when you go around the world and beg, you know, and borrow, you know, nobody don't recognize you, you know. It's like people are going to get tired of you. Because if you live in a community and every time you want something to shop up and knock on your neighbor, them get tired of you. It's the same thing with country-to-country relationship. So when you have these things happening in your country now have no face on the world stage. If you notice, Jamaica now have nobody head no world organization. Like back in the time in a Manly time. Michael Manley was a man who was, you know, seen as a world figurehead. Go all about and sit on a lot of, you know, meeting as high top ranking delegate. None look a backbencher. So under the Jamaica Labour Party, that's where Jamaica has been destroyed. Because when you have people that lend you money and tell you how to spend the money and what to do in your country, you're anti. So that is another form of slavery.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Let me ask you something like that. Let me ask what people them, what family them doing or something. You ever go and you go a place now and you borrow money. Remember they might have put interest on it. Let me show you IMF worse than everything else. You ever go if you go a bank, you have people go deal with loan for them house and things. But the bank I got dictate and say no man they must come to your house. Remember, just don't your wife no, she can't come to the one night, you know. and your family. Don't make nobody come. Them body must sleep in there. And here we are do now. People at the Margaret and them tell her this yet, them ever dictate to you like that. No, you can't dictate to nobody like that. You have to just know that you can deal with your Margaret and deal where you deal with, don't it? See?
Yeah.
But the IMF now dictate to you. And that's dangerous. Because you still have to pay them, you know. Where the man go to dictate to people? If you are get a money I borrow, you don't want the money to build some factory that you stop selling the raw material and use it build the plane wing or the plane or the engine or the car. And then you want market and sell yourself and go yourself that and pay them back and pay them the little thing where and that you have to borrow again and go your country in a real personal country. Then stop that. That's why for the country them where them lend, I know them in the debt same way. Them have to write off or, you know, forgive the debt. It's wrong, brother. I am if I tell you what to do. And hey, you're them dangerous. Remember, you know, them not say, you what to do. How much people have done a GDP? How much people have Fort Augusta lockdown? How much people have a Spanish town? You what me do? You see them prisoner there? Maybe take them and carry them in my place. Take them off of your hand because too much of them. Maybe we even take them and put them back in. Them no want them.
No.
They don't want them when I'm not skin either. We don't want them here. They put in fees in this country. They don't want them. But you loan, you tell the government, yo, put them for redundancy because you don't want so much of them. Cut the jobs then. And who them cut, when them cut them say, you teachers come. Say a better package, them now and go no good. Come for the classroom, we go no what we no want. Nurses,
I remember.
come. And
I remember,
them.
you know.
What are the better? So you kill people then, where you have them come and scrape them out. For them one purpose. Where you have
Nothing.
Jablat, what them call it? What them call it? Jablat?
Jablat. You left with Jablat.
Yeah, Jablat. Yes.
Yeah. But watch this now, Ian.
Yes.
When them get your teacher, you know, it benefit them, you know, because them not pay for train them, you know. Them get well-trained teachers just to come work. So them alleviate themselves from the training expense for these teachers. You understand? So it'll benefit them. But this is slavery in modern time.
Let me tell you.
You understand? It's slavery in a different fashion.
Of course.
Yeah, because you dictate to it. Mental slavery. Mental slavery.
Children. Me and Michael Butley. When I say they move the tackle and chain, but mentally it still remain. Robert our African heritage, then give them slave master name. Yeah. Them come and treat you like right here and pose up like them a king. And feel with superior. With inferior, but a blood run through every man. Feel them superior, but a blood run through every man vein. Because them feel we inferior to them. So them feel them superior, but a blood run through every man vein. So when you tell them the truth, even at the truth, when you listen to them truth, they know. It speaks value, man. You understand? You study how this world run. You know, we have great men that we study around here. And we can break down anything like this. So when you come tell me about this, well, Byron sign in, he must sign in right now. When him sign in, we're finished. I'm at them pan that same because when I leave this now. But as me just say now, right as so. When you go and you have play back your Margaret, you never hear them a dictator and say, listen, your wife can't come in the house, you know. Me no like for Facebook. Hear this now. Put out to you them and you alone to stay in the house. No. You buy your money, because you pay them just tell you the interest and you do one. Just do, you know, not the fault. You just pay them till you done and you're good. Not so it go. So why not be the same way? Even if you still have to pay you a 30%, you know, interest on your money, at 20% or 5% or what. But you want to have the talk. People vote for them. Member of parliament and then your farm and you have a government, but the government are run by MF to backside.
That's what I talk about.
Understand this.
Because the only thing we're supposed to come with the loan, you know, is the interest, you know. The only thing that IMF supposed to tell Jamaica when I borrow the money is about the interest rate. And it's supposed to stop right there, so.
Yes.
Yes, my brother. Greetings and blessing, Byron. Yeah, welcome, sir. Yeah, but
That's what I'm reaching to. I can't remember me up on the road, the painting a better so. When you see the clip on the title, I figure I have to slap them.
Exactly.
You understand? Yes. Yeah, the argument about Byron.
Yeah.
With the IMF and the traitor, because I like the traitor, you know.
Definitely.
Because it's a guy that, remember, in the captain system, you know, you have the first captain, second captain, or who with them, or who and the, you know, and then him jump off a ship after him, use welding torch and cut some big hole, and when it starts flood now, follow the artery, make him jump off.
Yes.
Jump off fight when it a sink.
Definitely.
yeah, man.
And everything I wait for the people, them everything I wait for them, you know. I'm a shark, all kind of things I wait for them and them jump off like everybody. And come on the pirate ship, IMF ship. I mean, just ask the people them here, so I'm gonna ask you again, Byron, because I'm at them in the night, you know, when I anybody ever go and get a loan? Yeah, like we have Margaret for pay back. The loan people them ever turn to you and say, listen me, you can't carry your wife in the house. Don't make your son and daughter live in the night. Don't touch this. You just pay back on time until you're done. And you think you and them cut deal, you spend your money, you get a loan, and them charge you which percentage, and from you know, the part nothing, yeah, you're good. Them are running. Why the IMF never behave like that, brother? Because the IMF, your brother, is a slave mentality the man them a practice for with third world country, you know. You can't grow with them, you know. Because first thing me I borrow money, me I run a country. And I come in and I tell you, listen me now. Remember me have my money for pay my workers them, you know. But me have my nurse them and me have my doctors them for pay and me have my teachers them and me run charter some money because me not draw the enough taxes. So much people now work, some want to kickstart something. And me turn to IMF. And IMF the first thing them look for me and say, hey, fiscal discipline. Cut staff. No, me need my staff. Me need more, you know. Because me say the people, them, the hospital shop, you know, because the bed no there, this, no there, and that, and they come buy the money for go push it up. They must have cut staff. So me drop off how much 1,000 nurses. And when me drop them, the big country, them where IMF run, will give the money in the IMF. Say, listen now, come. Them are that. You know, come. Me have job phone right here, so. Then the IMF say, devalue your money because it have float, it not value that. They might tell you this, you know. See, remember, you know, when your money are 1 to 1, you know, if me were 10,000, whenever we have 10,000 Jamaican, that means it value the same thing, 10,000 US. If you buy a car for 10,000, at 10,000. But when you are work now, and you work back the equivalent, for about 10,000, but you're gone to nearly 150 to 1. You have to work 1.58 million, but you not get. You just get the same 10,000. Exactly. So the car where you used to enjoy and buy, you cannot buy it again. Because of 13,000 for minimum wage. And then when you pay bus fare and thing out of that, remember you know work nothing, you know better.
Exactly.
You know work nothing when your boss is up, you know work nothing for the day. So you're doing cheap labor, extra cheap now, and then you know really produce nothing. You know, there's starvation that and I hold back. So even when government come and say 2030 vision, that is bullshit. But if it's straight not all of this first before a man tell me about 2030, you think me I idiot? No guy can put on his jacket and talk to me no better. I win in the Titans one so you know how I upset. I kind of you know, articulate we are speaking and it's so nice to them and I do this. I do what?
Yes.
Now tell you for that shit. Me man and me them attack too, and you.
Exactly.
Exactly. We are the Titans, we understand the whole of this.
Exactly.
Right? So when the big country them take up all of your work, remember them the one the man who wrote him and big, you know.
Yeah.
Now come to me and say, give me your prisoner. How much you have? 3,000 of them. Give me them, make we go train them. Make we empty your prison, make we use them. Yeah. Them no want nothing to do with them. By the way, let me show them no want nothing to do not skilled people and skilled workers. Them go as far as bringing visa. That even Europe, even UK, visa, they must have someone to sell jobs. But they make sure do that, and that means them can sieve out other people. They
Right.
they could have take a plane and go, no, They must sieve you out. And then if unskilled, you don't want him. Make him stay down there. So. And then that take out everybody with skill out of the country. You know, they must mash up the country more.
True.
Yeah? Plus, you have to pay them back with interest rate. And if you default, it's worse for you. Bad for your country. So you know, see, have slavery and everything. So tell me now, Byron, because you're not coming right now. Tell me now. So when them are boast and the Prime Minister run out with light and clock. And great for Jamaica and great for what? Great for what? It's an embarrassment on the flag upon Jamaica. Don't open the flag in a bit because me, you'd have feel shame. So you know some light and clocks stepping over people them neck. And they know them see it, you know. I am say yes, money can come stepping out some of them in Africa neck. I remember water boy can have certain power, none at all. None whatsoever. You my water boy this. So when Andrew come out and say, you know, it beneficial and him can negotiate. Negotiate what? It's about country and them powers. I'm to take out, listen, are you raw material and them things like in Africa and Jamaica, like we have built backside. Them they're not better.
Yes.
See? And then when them do them develop them, use it, build with them a bill, like we tell them, Charlie, like the coffee, the thing about go coffee. We tell them use it, make chocolate, right?
Yeah.
The cocoa. Make chocolate and sell about the chocolate bar for X amount, like 12 times we sell them a box at the raw material. 20 times. You see it? Instead of we have the factory and us to the finished product and we export it to them. We don't have to depend on tourists. You are telling me if the government good, the government is good. The government is good. Bullshit. Yes, Byron. You are telling me. Yes.
First, I want to say, you know, big up to you, Wayne, and, you know, the panel lied, big up yourself. And my apology as it relates to, you know, coming on late, you know, wrapping with the family a bit and just getting to hurry down, you understand, to meet the Titan brothers. But, you know, Wayne, I love how you put it, right? Now, what people need to understand as it relates to the IMF and what the IMF is to define as. The IMF, in reality, has to be defined as what we call the economic hitman. What do I mean by the economic hitman? Now, IMF will, of course, developing countries, particularly countries in the Caribbean, countries in Africa, that has their rich, valued resources. IMF, the World Bank, right, will now fix themselves to these countries in offering loans. Now, in offering loans, it comes with what we call austerity measures. People need to understand what is austerity measures and how you have to bear in terms of treading the fine line to utilize the austerity measures, right? So you bear on something that you call fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline to ensure that, okay, all right, this is what IMF is going to do in terms of when you're processing loans from IMF. Now, IMF is going to look on your programs, particularly your social programs, right? These are social programs that help these countries as it relates to the masses, right? In terms of government subsidizing education, government subsidizing a portion of healthcare, and all those programs that help, right, the society. The austerity measures is going to imply that the IMF is going to say, okay, all right, you need to cut this, you need to cut that, you need to cut this, you need to cut that. Simply means that, okay, your people is going to face hardship. Now, the austerity measures is that they are going to say, okay, all right, you need to have a wage freeze for your civil workers. So we want to make people understand certain things. So the IMF, right, as it relates to the objective of the IMF, is never ever at all. So when Andrew Holness tried to explain that this is a good thing as it relates to beer crap, beer bullshit,
Andrew Holness need to go study again. That's why we can't. Andrew Holness is somebody who go on like him brilliant, but him big and dunce. Me, I tell him that. Now, let us look. Let us look and let the people understand. There is 2 critical, serious advances IMF made. And one of the reasons why they are hugging up Nigel Clark, people need to understand that. The breaking down of our bauxite levy to 0, giving it to outside interests, which if you look, there are some of those, right, who correlated with the IMF as it relates to certain companies, right? And so then Jamaica, who used to make from the bauxite levy $2 billion, right? $2 billion. You tell me how prudent that Nigel Clark, who believed that, okay, is the professor of all professor, and as though, you know, IMF is painting him to be the magician. The magician, because Nigel Clark is handing out our resources to IMF. It's plain and simple. Right now, the 19%, the 19% what we have in JPS, right? The Jamaica Labour Party government is planning, you understand, to privatize that. Now, let us get down into the business. Now, let me bring back people memory. The first time and the first attack that IMF done to Jamaica was in the Michael Manley era. Yes. Why it was an attack? It was an attack to kill democratic socialism. Who was the front and center of that attack? Edward Philip George Siaga and the CIA, right? What happened in terms of, you know, Michael Manley, right? Of course, want to process some loans, right, from the IMF, right? And I don't want people to get complicated, you know, in terms of, okay, then why are you bashing IMF and at the same time processing certain loans? You have to understand that the loan structure, as it relates to IMF introduction to Jamaica, you understand, begin from the Jamaica Labour Party. So you have to be very much skillful in terms of utilizing certain things. And let me explain that. This is one of the reasons why majority Caribbean countries and other countries is now going to China. Why are they going to China? They are going to China because China doesn't offer austerity measures, right? Other countries, right, is leaving the IMF. If you look at majority countries in the Caribbean, right, they are now treading towards China, right, in terms of processing loans through China. And that is one of the reasons why, you understand, China, as it relates to the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, right? People need to understand the Belt and Road Initiative as a Chinese financial weapon, somewhat equal to the IMF, the World Bank, and so forth, right? Now, Chinese don't go around in terms of wanting to utilize austerity measures and persons who are taking loan from them. You understand? And so then people can better, the countries can better able to use it in terms of how they want to use it when it comes to Chinese loan. Now, under IMF loan, you can't get to use it as though you want to use it because IMF is going to tell you how to use it. So when it comes to bridges, and that's why you hear like with the Tri-Bridge, the fandangles are grown with Tri-Bridge and certain inland roads, you understand? Yeah, the IMF is not going to want for you to spend money in those areas. You have to understand how the IMF works, right? Now, as I said, IMF main objective, right, is to make sure that at the end of the day, they are seeing a profit line, right? Profit line. Now, it's not so much you understand, to develop a black nation. It is all about their profit line. It's strictly profit. And so then what they will do, you understand, is that when they give you these loans, right, they pressure your economy, right? Your dollar, each time you borrow from the IMF, what people need to understand that each time you borrow from the IMF, your dollar devaluated. Having your dollar devaluated, it put the country, right, in a little bit of spine, trouble. The country is now have to deal with inflation because your dollar devalued, right? So people need to understand that anytime that you get an IMF loan, it is not a good thing for the country. Now, let us start, people. It might sound like I am referring back to history and I am speaking at current. Now, let us look on Michael Mann, because I am saying this for you to understand the decision what Michael Manley made. So when Michael Manley raised up the bauxite levy, right? The bauxite levy had done much for Jamaica. Jamaica started to see a lot of benefits. Now where Michael Manley now was now afforded, you understand, to give education up to tertiary level, right? Free. That was the result of Michael Manley raising, you understand, the bauxite levy. Now guess what? Remember, Jamaica Labour Party is a capitalistic party, right? These men, you understand, did not take lightness to that. You understand? So Siaga now realized that, okay, Michael Manley, we can't stop Michael Manley from winning. So what we have to do, you have to throw a spine, you have to throw a monkey wrench in his movement. Now when the IMF look, because the IMF, you understand, linked with capitalism. Linked with capitalism. So the IMF look and see that, okay, all right, if Michael Manley being supported strongly, democratic socialism is going to spread throughout the Caribbean and spread strongly throughout the Caribbean. Now, if democratic socialism spread strongly, you understand, throughout the Caribbean, and where Michael Manley philosophy is now teaching people about self-reliance, teaching the country and the society how to produce and manufacture, right? Then guess what? These countries, they are not going to need any IMF loans. And so then they are going to avoid all austerity measures by not needing any IMF loans, and those countries can able to suffice for themselves. So this is how the monkey wrench come in. Now, what Siaga did? Siaga know that a democratic socialism, Michael Manley as an inspiration leader, Michael Manley who is bringing forward the country in terms of a positive nation building, right? No, they have to stop him. Here goes Siaga running the propaganda that Michael Manley now link with Cuba. You understand, and want to put in communism and all of that and so forth and so forth and so forth, right? Which, of course, you understand, the United States, you understand, already have an embargo on Cuba. You understand, the United States is a capitalist. You understand, and so then, okay, all right, let us work together to mash down democratic socialism. So then now, after everything was vibrant, you understand, the loan that was promised, right, to make the country push and where, of course, we can use bauxite and certain things, pay off the loan quick, and so forth, and able to push ourselves further, right? Now, what Siaga had done, Siaga and the IMF and the CIA, right, plus with the IMF, right, Siaga influenced them to hold back 50% of the loan. Now, what they plan to make the economic scream. If you Google, people who are listening right now, as it relates to what was communicated by United States, right, to tell, the country, right, to make the economy scream. That was what they meant. You understand? That means they are going to not give Michael Manley the loan. You understand? And certain things automatically economic pressure. That's why we call them the economic hitman. certain pressures, you understand, is now start to pressure the country. And now, you understand, it seems like, Michael Manley, they stop. If people remember those days when food product used to marry, you understand, you can't buy flour and buy might be one stay free. You can't buy this and buy that and maybe several goods. People need to remember this. Several goods hold up at the wharf. You understand? And guess what? We're dumped by several wickedness. That's the other done, several wickedness. No, because let us move a little further. Right? In terms of recent activities. Now, after the country set apart as it relates to PJ Patterson, now they always talk about PJ Patterson spent 18 years and so forth and so forth. Why was PJ Patterson spend that? That is what people need to ask. Why was the reason that PJ Patterson, the only prime minister in the history of Jamaica, had spent, 3 consecutive terms in office? Because of course PJ Patterson was rolling out the policies. PJ Patterson, even although utilized IMF loan, PJ Patterson know that you cannot continue with IMF loan and their austerity measures. So what PJ Patterson had done was to work the economy, very hard in terms of able now to pay back the IMF and clean the slate with IMF. If people remember that history is there. Now, after PJ Patterson had done that, what transpired after that? Now, and this goes, and let me talk to the people now as it relates to general election coming, whether they want to call it in December, we always need to prepare, right? Now, PJ Patterson, right, created many social programs. Many of those social programs being utilized by JLP right now as we speak. The past program that PJ Patterson created is now being used by the JLP. So when you hear Nigel Clark comes out and he quoted 50 years, 50 years, never before that the economy is doing so good and this and that. People don't listen to his bullshit and JLP bullshit and the PSOJ bullshit who is supporting that bullshit narrative. Because people, you have to understand that many of the policies that Nigel Clark is now carrying on, you understand, as it relates to physical policies to get us out, you understand, was being utilized by Peter Phillips. Let me talk the truth. Now, watch this now, people. I am going to show you something. So that Bruce Golding, because of lies and propaganda and so forth, yeah, the Jamaican people not being educated, right, that much as it relates to the masses of those people who are voting, right, now seems to give JLP a chance in power. Now, people, if you go back and look at the history, every time you give JLP chance in power, JLP create mayhem because they are capitalists. They want to hold you. Their mentality is what you call trickle-down economics. They believe that if the few, the bubbles, the elites, right, benefited, then the benefits will trickle down to the bottom. That economic strategy has never worked in no modern country. Many first world countries tried it, and it's a callous failure for all of them who tried trickle-down economics. Never worked, right? Now, so watch this, people. So Bruce Golding went into power, right? And if you look and check the history, many of the things that Bruce Golding did is what the JLP turned propaganda and blaming the People's National Party for in terms of selling out many of Jamaica assets, like the sugar factories, the Air Jamaica and so forth, right? They are now want to put the blame to say it was PGA who sold them. Careless lie, people. Careless lie. That's why people need to read the research. Those are lies, right? Now let us push on. So when you look, you see that, okay, Bruce Golding go back now to the IMF, right? For what? More austerity measures. If you realize that when time Bruce Golding went back to the IMF, what happened again? Our dollar again devalue, because he has now processed new loans. Now, what happened, people? Let us speak the truth now, and I'm going to give the people the full history. What happened as it relates to Bruce Golding, right? Bruce Golding, as it relates to the austerity measures, right? Between him and the IMF, you understand, Bruce Golding failed miserably on those austerity measures. And so then now the country again now is in now what we call economic chaos. So then as it relates to the global community and many people outside was watching that, whoa, Jamaica is slowly crashing. Jamaica is now in the abyss, the economic abyss, right? Who's going to rescue Jamaica? Because now the IMF turned their back on Bruce Golding, right? And so then Bruce Golding is not getting no loans from the IMF now. The IMF now is now punishing Bruce Golding as it relates to the austerity measures that he failed. Now, coupled with that, bigger trouble, right? Now the United States now pursuing one of the drug lords, you understand, as it relates to, of course, Dudus, you understand, as it relates to investigation, right, where drugs done, funded, right, the Jamaica Labour Party election. And so then expect, you understand, for the Jamaica Labour Party now to give in. So Bruce Golding at the time caught between a rock and a hard place as it relates to appease, as it relates to those who fund him, you understand, and looking on the austerity measures and where Bruce Golding failed those austerity measures. Now, the country now, people, in a dilemma. Now, guess what now? Based on certain things behind closed door, United States pressure Bruce Golding. Bruce Golding has to resign. That is how Bruce Golding left politics, because he has to resign under the pressure coming from the United States. Now that Bruce Golding now exit out of this, right? Now remember, people, that of course Andrew Holness, you understand, take up the mantle within 2011, thereabout, right? And take on Portia Simpson. And when he took on Portia Simpson, people need to remember now, Portia Simpson mama slapped the baby, right? Because the baby was crying out too loud and want too much infamy. So Mama P slapped him and said, go and find your corner, right? He lost the election. So Portia Simpson, being at the helm 2012, and I want to show Jamaican people a little history here. When Portia Simpson took over the economy, took over Jamaica, Portia Simpson realized that the country was in a chaos, economic crisis. So let me tell JLP this, and any political scientists who want to run out and come challenge Titans. Come and challenge us, because we have the history. So when you talk about you do this and JLP do this with their policy, bullshit. Let us start a real policy maker now.
Sure.
So when Portia Simpson realized that the country is going into an economic abyss, right? Portia Simpson, Peter Phillips, and Mark Golding.
True.
People need to remember this. Go back to your history. Don't make no people fool you. Don't make the labor rights fool you. Portia Simpson, right? Peter Phillips and Mark Golding, right? Drafted policies and decided, said, okay, all right. Let us, with our grace, go on our knees, you understand, and deal with IMF, you understand, because we don't have no money to run the country. No money, none. The IMF partially turned their backs on Portia. What Portia has to do was to go to the United States Congress and deal with Maxine Walters.
And the Black Caucus, yes.
And Black Caucus.
Yes,
and
yes.
Maxine Walters, who had applied pressure You understand? And then IMF said, okay, all right, we are going to talk. So when IMF talked to Portia, what IMF did was set one of the most difficult austerity measures for Portia Simpson. Difficult austerity measures, because they believe that's why the people, let me tell you something, when they are talking about Nigel Clark, and that's why it grieved me. You understand? And Jamaica Labour Party, them dunce people there, they talk about as if Nigel Clark, brilliant, going to the IMF. Let me give you the history. Let me give you the history, open the windows of the history. Mama P, Peter Phillips, Mark Golden, step up to the plate. And guess what? The stringent measures put in place, Portia Simpson, Mark Golden, Peter Phillips, rode out the storm, because the storm that's set for us, you understand, was a category 5. Trust me. But guess what? Mama P, right? Peter Phillips and Mark Golden sheltered us from the storm. Let me tell you what they did. 8 consecutive IMF tests was tested on Portia's leadership. And guess what? 8 consecutive tests. Portia Simpson, Peter Phillips, Mark Golden passed them. Unbelievable that IMF could not believe that the precipice that was set for us to fail, Jamaica had succeeded, that it was so riveting that IMF said they have to look on the policies being utilized and use it as a key example of how some countries can navigate. And IMF, to them, it was amazing success that someone say ask the question, is the Jamaican economy crash yet? Because they were expecting it to crash. No, the Jamaican people never understand what Portia Simpson was doing. The wage freeze that Portia Simpson have to utilize as she was instructed by IMF, right? And put in other fiscal discipline, you understand, under the austerity measures, you understand, to overcome, you understand, and now dealing with certain situation. Now, just imagine after Bruce Golden crush it, and Portia Simpson, right, has to build it. Peter Phillips has to build it. Mark Golden has to build it. What will have happened in 2016? 2016, the electorate, you understand, not being educated, not being having the awareness of what being transpired and the knowledge of what happened, allow themselves, you understand, to be so gullible, you understand, and supported the Jamaica Labour Party. Under the mission of what Jamaica Labour Party run on, Clark's economy. You tell me, people, you tell me, you understand that people are going to look on the Prime Minister and say he cater for ghetto youths because he have weird Clarks. You want to tell me now, Jamaican people, let me tell you something, man. That cut my heart. That cut every heart string in Mystic Sensation. That cut every heart string in Light. That cut every heart string in Vian Ransom. And that should cut every heart string in Aromatic. Let me tell you something. What the Jamaica Labour Party present today, you understand, they're a bunch of liars, a bunch of thieves, a syndicate of criminals. Now, let us talk about why Nigel Clark jumped the ship. Coming to finish it. Lonesome, just give me a few more minutes. You understand? Let me expose the brief. Now, Nigel Clark. Now, since you jumped the ship, because Nigel Clark knows what's coming down in the pipe, so nobody try to put it up. JLP and PSOJ, nobody try to put it up, because donors start to jump and leave. You know? Donors are saying, your Jamaica Labour Party donors are saying that they need to see the illicit 8 be mentioned. Now, hell is going to break loose. Hell is going to break loose when Parliament resumes in September. So let us start the truth and put it out why Nigel Clark run. Because Nigel Clark know that what is coming down into the pipeline is what we call bangarang. And so then he have to take for himself. And we are now IMF now are trying to shape him off. They try to do one for JLP. The last straw in their arsenal. To say, make we see if this can work. You understand? Hey, make we employ Nigel Clark. I'm going to put out good things about Nigel Clark, that Nigel Clark is the professor. Because what Nigel Clark is handing out the resources to the IMF, to the external
CIA.
To the interest.
Yes.
So then you have to understand what is going on here. Don't let this play on your mind, people. You understand? It's a bunch of fraud and gimmickry. Just like what they had done with JPS. JPS had informed them as it relates to dialogue with finance Nigel Clark. And he's now acting as if someone misconstrued what was being communicated in that meeting, as if JPS did not inform him of the race to come. And you see they're coming out and put it up. They are a bunch of liars. Remember, people, that Nigel Clark himself stated categorically clear to us that in SSL, FBI was going to investigate. And he's not going to leave any stone unturned. Let me ask Nigel Clark something now. What are you doing? Are you leaving the stone unturned in SSL? Because Crawl had finished their investigation, hand it over to the DPP. What your government done? You said you want transparency. You understand? But you will never ever, you understand, get to the bottom of SSL, because SSL mix you up. And let me tell the people how you have been mixed up in SSL. You have been mixed up in SSL because you and Andrew Holness took NHT money, the NIS money, you understand, the head tax money, and put it in SSL, which now transfer to your pockets. Want to tell the truth now? PSOJ, come out and tell the truth. You understand? Nobody don't hide it. Nobody don't hide it and want to Andrew Holness a quick one for pass through. Them can't pass through when TITANS there.
Could never.
Can't pass through. So what Nigel Clark running from is to explain SSL, you understand, explain the budget shortfall, and explain several things as it relates to corruption that is going to hit him. So Nigel Clark is taking away himself. So that is the truth what people need to understand. So I yield back and give an next Titans.
All right, so Titan, like before you said something, let me just play something and show you. Like Nigel Clark, he means just a water boy going right there. So I'm playing something to you. Right? Hear this.
And welcome back to Primetime News.
Special welcome to viewers on onespotmedia.com as well as TVJ International in the Cayman Islands.
Reactions to the imminent departure of Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark for a post at the International Monetary Fund, IMF.
One financial analyst believes the move has created a national crisis for Jamaica.
Now, Dr. Clark is set to take up the new post on October 31.
Several high-ranking officials, including heads of government, have been hailing the appointment of Dr. Nigel Clark to the IMF. But for Ralston Hyman, financial analyst and founding member of the Economic Program Oversight Committee (EPOC),
Nigel Clark's appointment with the IMF has precipitated a national crisis.
A national crisis partly because of unfinished business. The central bank is projecting a decline in the Jamaican economy for this fiscal year due to the impact of Hurricane Beryl. The Jamaican dollar is losing value, the population census is incomplete, and the multi-billion-dollar fraud at Stocks and Securities Limited SSL remains unresolved.
Nigel Clark is also leaving an unfinished budget. He hasn't told us where the 45 billion in securitization to fund the road program will be coming from yet. So he has precipitated a national crisis because he is departing suddenly, leaving on October 21st, 31st, without any real successor within the party in order to carry on the work. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness must be scratching his head as to see what is he going to do to fill that post.
On Monday, the Office of the Prime Minister said the government has identified successors to Dr. Clark, so there will be a smooth transition and the public can expect a continuation of economic achievements. Dr. Clark's replacement in Northwest St. Andrew has been identified, Dwayne Smith, but no word yet on who will be the finance minister.
We're calling upon the Prime Minister to name who he has identified as quickly as possible in order to contain the fallout.
There's still speculation that Education Minister Favour Williams, who has previously served in the Finance Ministry,
I'm going to stop it there, so come and finish play it. But you know, them push up Mommy Return, if she just mess up the whole of the education system. We have 18% of kids pass with like 5 at the CXC, like less than 5. 18%, me not have 50%. I have 60%. Then you got to take on and put her back a finance. We'll govern the whole country same way. Tell me if they're not fake. Them feeling not about she. The local media should have questioned about she. She should have, them should have run out from every minute to a long time.
could be shifted to the post. Speculation too about Industry Minister Aubin Hill and Information Minister Dana Morris Dixon.
None of those candidates, to me, can inspire the confidence that the country needs at this particular point in time in order to deal with the mess that has been left by Nigel Clark.
In the meantime, Mr. Hyman had this rebuttal to those who claim that Dr. Clark's appointment to the IMF will be beneficial to Jamaica and the Caribbean as he'll be able to make policy changes.
The IMF is driven by politics and money. Yeah? We call it the quotas. The quotas represent your contribution to the IMF. America dominates the IMF because America's quota is 82.6 billion SDRs. That gives them 17% of the quotas and 16% of the votes. Then you have China with $30 billion SDR, which gives them 6.14% of the votes. Then there's Japan with 6.08% of the votes. Then there's France with 4.03% of the votes. Then there's Germany with 5.53% of the votes. Jamaica's voting power is 0.1%. Nigel Clark can't change any policy at the IMF. So that is absolute rubbish.
Yeah, you know?
Absolute rubbish.
That's rubbish. You can't change the policy.
Yeah.
He might just water boy. Water boy. Just like it.
When looking at Nigel Clark, as it relates to him time in office, he hasn't accomplished anything. Nothing that you can speak of that has, you know, enabled Jamaica to press forward as a nation. There's too much controversy surrounding Nigel Clark. SSL saga, that is one foremost on the lips of Jamaican all over the world. And for him to be jumping ship without we getting the true report from the people, the forensic auditors, is a disgrace. That is a disgrace. And it's a slap in the face of the Jamaican electorate. Because we know this man involved in that corruption right up to his neck. And he's leaving at a time when we should have gotten the report that's been conducted, that our tax money paid to conduct those reports. And they are sitting on the report, DPP office, and not releasing them because they know that it will sink Nigel Clark, Andrew Holness, and the other 6. Because Nigel Clark is one of the 8. No doubt about that. So how can you have a man that is under investigation as it relates to Jamaica finance that is jumping ship and going to Washington to take up a post in IMF? That is ludicrous. And I want the people them to know that they should have taken to the street to demand from the Prime Minister that this man been held back in Jamaica pending the outcome of these investigations from SSL. Where in the world you see a government enter into an election and a top position in the cabinet as it relates to finance minister jumping ship? The finance minister is one of the strongest member of parliament in your country. Stronger than the prime minister. Him control the money will run the country. And when you see a government allowing a top official, senior official from within the cabinet to jump ship and go after Pastor Green, it tell you that the Jamaica Labour Party is in a shambles. And Andrew Holness knows that. And him don't care anymore. They're having sleepless nights as it relates to all the cases that they're going to have to answer to. All the corruption that they have left the country in. They will have to answer them. So people are running left, right, and center right now. So I just want the Jamaican electorate, don't be fooled by no PR that this man is a top financier in the world and him gone to IMF and it will benefit Jamaica because we can get more loan and better deal. That will never happen. As loan, some say him is a water boy, him is a 12-man on a cricket team, him not playing out there on the pitch. This is a PR and a face card. I can't say, that mystic opening speech, has so much volume in it. It's wonderful to hear that opening speech, my brother. And I'm saying that as Mystic relate earlier on, this man has no standing to be leaving Jamaica for IMF. And the whole thing is a PR because a lot of people know the intricacy that surround the whole head of the JLP cabinet as it relates to Nigel Clark, the finance minister, the line minister, Andrew Holness, and the rest of 6. Heads going to roll. So people are trying to escape the scenario that is awaiting them. So we're asking the Jamaican electorate come out on election day. Make sure you get enumerated from now. Because we want to hold these people with the firm grip that they should be held under. No little hanky-panky trial. Because these men have robbed Jamaican of trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars gone missing. And when you have a country that is already under austerity measure from the IMF, when our workers cannot be paid properly, when our workers have to be leaving for Pastors Green, brain draining from our society, leaving our kids with no superior teachers around to educate the nation properly, no proper doctors and nurses to care for the sick and the elderly, real policemen leaving us with criminals on the street, majority of them. It tells you the state that the country is in. the country is almost at a rock bottom point. So when Andrew Holness come out and are doing PR and, you know, say, him raise the flag of Jamaica, come on, Andrew Holness. Nobody listening to that today. Because him don't get a gold medal, you know. So I will not hear the national anthem a play. So him raise the flag. What did Nigel Clark achieve for Jamaica flag to be raised? When your flag raise the national anthem play, I don't know if IMF is playing the national anthem when them going to, you know, admit him into the office sometime in October. So this PR not going anywhere. What you guys need to do and should have done long time ago is call a general election. Get this problem that the country have over and done. Find yourself behind bars, pay no time, give back to the country where you confiscate from the country. Because you have a lot of Jamaican taxpayers' money sit down pan. Good? And you are trying to use all the farmer mechanism to wiggle on the way out of it. But you can't wiggle out of it, you know, because the next government will be holding you accountable. And I sure know the government in waiting has already put in plan their strategic way of dealing with you 8 members that are currently under investigation from the Jamaica Labour Party. Because I know they're not stupid. The cry of the nation has been so loud that they must have heard that everyone is asking for you guys to go to prison. Held accountable, tried, put behind bars. Assets seized that was stolen from Jamaican taxpayers. So we are just waiting for the moment to arrive, you know. So any members from the Jamaica Labour Party who want to run off to pass as green, we will have you extradited back in Jamaica to face trial. I yield back to the panel.
Yes, man. All right, now I play Andrew Holness here, so. I play him here, so, and then I play thing the writers because the worst government is Jamaica ever seen. I'm a talk about the worst government in the world. Because we watch government, you know, we study a lot of things about government. You know, right across the globe, you know, dictator governments and well, Andrew Holness is the dictator government still. Let me hear what I say. Hear this, your Titans, hear this.
Sean, and your view on dual citizenship and holding such and being in the a member of parliament.
Let me say this as a kind of precursor to answering you. I've tried not to say too much on the constitutional reform issues because there is a strategy to literally take all my statements and turn them into political fodder.
And holding such and being in the a member of parliament.
Let me say this as a kind of precursor to answering you. I've tried not to say too much on the constitutional reform issues because there is a strategy to literally take all my statements and turn them into political fodder.
What kind of statement them take and turn up? Your lies them where you take, ban in a 1 room, then 2 room, then tell me say a people was a criminal gang a sell land and then you say no criminal over there. And no gang over there, and a decent people. This guy, I'm get up and tell every day, but I'm drop proud on upon the eagle. You know, the eagle have to fly, man. You hear this, Byron? I lied. Listen again.
No, man.
Eagle, you know. But the eagle have to fly and hold him accountable, not so. Yeah.
What is your position and your view on dual citizenship and holding such and being in the a member of parliament?
Let me say this as a kind of precursor to answering you. I've tried not to say too much on the constitutional reform issues because there is a strategy to literally take all my statements and turn them into political fodder. And I didn't want anything that I said to be used as an excuse not to proceed because we got the sense that people were looking for excuses not to proceed with the constitutional reform. So I deliberately, totally stayed away from it. So even though I am going to be very careful and guarded, limited in any statement that I make.
So in the man stop talk, you must be very careful. But every statement they make, start be a line still a come tell us, I will still use it. Saturday. For them account.
Why you have him nervous? You get the Prime Minister nervous, Wayne.
And that me I say, when you hear this, when you can't hear this, when you really hear him, he might hold him oneself because when he attack, brothers, when he attack, when I do and tell the lies, them, and then them get for them one lie, but we use it back on him.
On this matter of the dual citizenship, except what I've already said, which I was very clear in statements made when I was leader of government business in the parliament over a decade ago, that I believe that the Jamaican diaspora is much bigger than our Commonwealth, and that the
people, he might say political father, but more you listen this guy good, I tell me if he have sense. Even though I have a dual citizenship, people around him are served right now. Even the water minister drank a jacket in London. He never tell me this. So when they talk for them, and then here we might talk and our rubbish him. Yeah.
Jamaican Commonwealth is our diaspora wherever they are, and that we should allow persons with Jamaican citizenship to be able to serve Jamaicans in our parliament politically. So for me, it doesn't matter what other citizenship you have, once you swear allegiance, being a Jamaican citizen, to Jamaica. That would be my stated position. The other thing I would say is that to be the ultimate leader of a country, to be...
People can't nothing name ultimate leader. That coming like when you talk about ultimate leader, like in Iran, yeah, them kind of place, in China, ultimate leader.
Yeah.
Come on these places. Because in a democratic country, you have not named ultimate leader. You have cabinet. Not even the prime minister can pass something and cabinet to pass it. So I'm a member of the cabinet too. And matter of fact, them can't fire him now. The cabinet can resign and week him up. In part, them can't move him now. At that, in a democracy, them can move him to the amount of thing him going with. So it matter about ultimate leader don't make no sense, yeah? Continue.
The ultimate executive leader of the country, you should have no other citizenship. There should be no question by your citizens that you lead, that you have somehow split loyalties.
At that point, you and grab him now. I come move him, come off of the thing. So make me ask him this now. Ultimate executive. The executive are the cabinet. And if that you have the ultimate, because if them vote, them can vote again within the cabinet. If a 20, how much of them in there? And then make a vote, and then no say as them win the vote, it can't go through neither. I told them I vote in a one card. If them vote with them one conscience, him can't move neither, If them vote, instead of them work for Jamaica, not for him. Have nothing name ultimate. If I ultimate, that means I'm alone that I want to lead. Them can't fire him. Same like in a UK, look much prime minister before the election run.
Exactly.
We have a take step here, we do all we resign from the cabinet post, and have no cabinet, and then we're going to get rid of you. We're going to take a vote pan you and get rid of you. See, the whole of them up there, so much prime minister them push out. Much prime minister them push out, like, how much?
Three.
Before the election.
Before the election.
See? So you have nothing, you have no ultimate.
Well, I know one minute there. Wayne, I notice somebody use the word ultimate regularly.
In that try to operate per mark now and to about him if him have the dual citizenship when he get from him father, and you have a born Jamaican. And him father, we do so much great things. Wait, who is a Jamaican? He might go born over there, so about him a Jamaican. See? And then spend most of him years and serve Jamaica. Okay? Him father. and do some great things to the poor and needy, especially the disabled. Eh? That's some dedicate him life as a certain, eh? You see it, mistake.
Yeah,
Right?
man. Yeah.
It's the ultimate. Him just a bag of bullshit. And then when him talk away, they say anybody can serve because him have more than a handful of them. More than a handful, ten. More than a handful of them. They have dual citizenship, including American and all kind of things. And by the way, oh, you know when a prime minister, don't when Dusa leave, him was the ultimate leader, him and Joe. Him just a, no, you see what about ultimate and a chat one bag of foolishness yourself. Him did a run for about him one turn leader and a year, him said them just take him and put him night. Eh? So Dusa forced to step down, or him turn a prime minister, him. Tell me, or him turn a prime minister. You might talk about your ultimate leader and this. That make any sense to you, brothers?
Exactly.
No.
You said, yeah, bitch, man, attack, man. But no, it backfire because the Mark wouldn't have dual citizenship. But tell me now, but a Ligel jumped the ship and got up an IMF ship. You see that?
Pirate ship.
It's a pirate ship.
Right.
So you talk about and talk about ultimate. But listen, you know what Ligel said? 2 weeks ago, them approach, him gonna know about this. It never happened. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He said few. Big Mama asked him about 3 or 6. He said no, few. Few mean 2. Right? Few. 1, 2. Because them said 3, you know. And him said no, fewer than that. He said few. He never said 1. He said few. That means we stop right there at 2. 2 weeks, them just take and just ask you something. And you leave your MP, your finance minister and everything. And you jump down there to go and turn a water boy and leave the whole country in a shambles. It's a band Judas this. A Judas generation, man. Because of the piece of silver make him jump out of that thing, he might jump from. Everything
Yeah, man.
here. Because he might get 70 million. When they are saying they get like 20. Index the finance minister, 20 because then Ghana 70 million, 400,000, right? Ghana 70 million. So if money make you jump, so can you imagine that you have money where you can't show your hand, so can you imagine what them do? Eh? You tell me Byron. So them does Andrew does current say, I mean I'm drop out on the eagle. You hear him?
Yes.
He must be a guessing bird. Because we are using one thing and it's a maximum. Them exactly. You know, I thought less. But we have the material already.
Exactly.
So it help you. And you still have to talk as a prime minister. Can you do lie? Yes, Byron.
This is the way of it complicated as it relates to dual citizenship in terms of what Nigel Clark did. Now, where I am focusing on is on the JLP narrative. You understand? When they were defining Mark Golding, right, being to the fact that he had utilized being a dual citizenship, right, status, right, they were talking about the issue of loyalty. That Mark Golding, it doesn't show loyalty to the country. Now, let us look, people. Let us talk about on the basis of loyalty. Now, Nigel Clark is not the only person who had gotten this offer. Right? So we want people to be aware of that. That Peter Phillips had gotten this offer, right? And denied it. Now we are talking about loyalty, you know, as it relates to the PNP. And Peter Phillips had gotten that offer and denied it. You understand? Simple means to suggest that Peter Phillips would have now implied that loyalty for him, you understand, is a purpose of denying, you understand, that situation when the IMF, you understand, make that request. So here's Peter Phillips. No, my country comes first. And so Peter Phillips rejected. Now, let us go to Nigel Clark and what I want people to understand and the ingredients that I'm going to put in. When Peter Phillips denied that, remember, people, that Peter Phillips at the time did not get 200 and 300% raise. So people, back up, look at check. No, it is not that Peter Phillips at the time was enjoying the luxury of 200 and 300% raise as what Nigel Clark has been enjoying. But yet, with that meager salary, even though Peter Phillips was offered, he denied. That is the level of loyalty displayed right there. So we are talking about when JLP they run out and talk about loyalty and this and that crap bullshit. They are liars. You understand? They are canards, right?
So
and proof. Yes.
So we just know. Remember, you know, at the 1 and 2, they write this up.
Yes.
Remember, the finance ministry are the most powerful ministry in the world thing. Can't remember, you know,
right.
National security, any one of them cannot run without the funds. So if I collect the whole of this and I say, you know,
yes.
Run, how much need so you go back to fight this. I read anything them have to talk to him. But yet still, him jump ship. He might be one to jump ship and a business about the party and not know Holness to tell about loyalty now. You know, to tell them, you know, to them not loyal. Not even to
Yeah, man.
And he might try play politics, but yet in my chat, he might cost me eagle. I said the eagle, I want him accountable, brother. The eagle, I hold him accountable. Yeah. Him said the eagle, I hold him accountable, you know. But look where I'm doing now. The eagle, I hold him accountable. Right, Byron?
Yes.
If you be eagle, I hold him accountable. But look where I'm doing now. We talk about loyalty. If man, 2 weeks, him said them call him. I have to tell him 2 weeks.
Yes.
But 2 weeks, and you jump, you leave, everything. Remember, I'm fight for all in seat where the boy I'm get, you know. Because Smith did want to give him son.
Yes.
And then Nigel them give him son 4.2 billion, 2.1 billion on a KPH, and the next hospital 2.1 for provide food where you can get biscuit and crackers.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, 4.2 billion with a contract. We don't them have to spend that. That's a nepotism, cronyism, and everything that in prison.
Exactly.
And now you see it now. Because Elijah leave that and not him gonna get it. Because you remember Smith did that say man give him son the seat. Never know says a royalty thing where you pass down. You take the seat and give son. This is how them take Jamaica.
It's a family affair.
Yes.
So as we are saying,
yes.
Right, that Peter Phillips declined, you understand, that offer, right? And so there's no question as it relates to where loyalty stands, where Peter Phillips is concerned. Now, here is Nigel Clark. And that's why I'm saying to people, don't try to get, you know, overly clouded by this Nigel Clark situation going to the IMF, right? And Nigel Clark, you understand, awarded the opportunity to escape because of what he had given them. Right? They know very well that Nigel Clark is in a dilemma. Why Nigel Clark is in a dilemma? People, be cognizant of this. Number one, the biggest blockbuster is SSL. People, now let me show you a strategy being played out. Now, let us look at the illicit aid. What the illicit aid hinged on? Illicit enrichment, right? People who amass huge wealth, right, where their income cannot justify those wealth. So let us bear that in mind when we talk about illicit enrichment. Now, the report as it relates to the illicit aid, let me tell people this. For some people who bash in the Integrity Commission, investigators, don't bash them. And this is the reason why. Because if I am not saying this is my subjective opinion, let me say this. I am not saying that this is what the Integrity Commission investigators are doing. But if I was the person in charge of the Integrity Commission investigators, as it relates to Greg Christie, I would, right, have instructed them to make the case, the starting of the case, everything as it relates to the complaint at the complaint department, let it stay at the complaint department. I'm going to explain why, people. Because I believe that the issue surrounding Andrew Holness, as a matter of fact, let me just put out the illicit 7. Andrew Holness, right? Now, Andrew Holness and his wife, because if Andrew Holness involved, his wife automatically involved, they file together. So when I talk about the illicit things, you are putting the illicit 2 here. We are talking about Andrew Holness and the wife. Fuck the matter, people. First thing to bear in mind, that where the Prime Minister is concerned, and when we look on his 2021 statutory declaration that cannot be certified, we are not talking about the 2022. We are not talking about the 2023, right? Now, it's 2021 statutory declaration that cannot be certified ultimately affected previous statutory declaration and the 2022 and 2023. Because the truth of the matter is that the Prime Minister lied. Now, let us look. So the Integrity Commission, I wouldn't try to move it from the complaint department to get into, you understand, the next step. Why? Because getting into the next step and you have a completion, it is going to go to the corruption prosecutor, where the corruption prosecutor is not want to touch it, and if you even go to the DPP, is going to sit on the DPP's office. And what you want to see, you understand, is a burning out of time. You understand? Wanting to execute statute of limitation. Now, let us look and let us prove that what I'm saying is true. Now, the SSL report had been completed. Investigation. Remember what Nigel Clark said. Come here, Nigel Clark. Let me talk to you. Okay, you think you can run for me? You can't run for the Titans. Let me tell you something now. Watch this, Nigel Clark. You said, right, that you're not going to leave any stone unturned. Remember, that's what came out of your mouth. Right? Now, here is where now you're flopping up in front of the entire world, not only the Jamaican people. Jean and Pantan tell you, Nigel Clark, where you need to look. Jean and Pantan said to you and said to the world and the Jamaican people, look, I am not going to take any pressure anymore. Please, what I said to you guys earlier, as it relates to me alone, do it. Let me talk to the plain pattern. As it relates to me alone, do it. And on me alone. I was coerced by you, Croskery, to say what I said. Nigel Clark, you didn't hear that? No, let me ask. The DPP, you didn't hear that? Commissioner of Police, you didn't hear that? So let me ask you a question now. Have you, based on what Jean and Pantan stated, who Jean and Pantan is the wealth advisor who handled these accounts, saying to you that, hey, please ask you cross-carry these questions. Have any of you, the DPP, the Commissioner of Police, the corruption prosecutor, have any of you interrogate you Croskery? The answer is a big fat no. And why it's a big fat no? Because you all know that you cannot ask you Croskery any question. Because you Croskery know that the money, as it relates to SSL, you understand, is used by the JLP as a laundering system. And don't hear what you Croskery is saying, people. Why they cannot question you Croskery. Oh, no, nobody bring me in this and mix me up in this, you know, because if you don't mix me up in this, you understand? Hell, I got broke loose. Me have to talk up things then. Me to tell you, I am telling you here tonight that they cannot ask you Croskery anything, any question, but look at the pattern of behavior. Look at Andrew Holness MO, modus operandi. Patrick Bailey have an open crime in our house. There is no tampered, no sign of tampering. Who interrogate Patrick Bailey? Patrick Bailey was Andrew Holness' liar. Cannot be interrogated because why? Just like you, Croskery, who know the bangarang, Patrick Bailey also know the bangarang as it relates to Andrew Holness awarded illegal contracts to Gavin, and it is Patrick Bailey who sets up those shell companies for Andrew Holness. People want to see the MO? Want to see the MO? The modus operandi of Andrew Holness. Now, Nigel Clark, let us bring in Nigel Clark. Before Nigel Clark ventured into the politics, Nigel Clark was working for Andrew Holness. Yes, Nigel Clark was a director in Jamaica Positive Foundation that managed by Andrew Holness. So then Nigel Clark is inclined, right, to protect Andrew Holness because it is Andrew Holness' influence and so forth. All of that, you understand, bring forth Nigel Clark in the politics to hide the wrongdoing. Now let us back up a bit. You know how the money being laundering, you understand, to facilitate the Jamaica Labour Party. You understand? When you look into the health sector, over $700 billion unable to be accounted for, people use a sense, and the permanent secretary is going to say, okay, I have not been getting the appropriation account on a yearly basis. They're supposed to get it on a yearly basis, people. Every year, the appropriation account, you understand, need to be filed, and you are going to tell me that the appropriation account, you understand, not being looked at for many years. People, this is how they're laundering the money. This is how they're sharing around the money. So all of them becomes a fat cow, fat puss, or any other animal what you want to put there. You understand? Corruption, 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 corruption. So then Nigel Clark getting up, I want people to understand why Nigel Clark have to take off. And why, you understand, IMF have to send out, you understand, a little escape route for him. It is IMF who is carving out an escape route, you understand, for Nigel Clark. And why IMF had done that? Because Nigel Clark stayed on fiscal discipline. Yeah? And so then when you look, not only that Nigel Clark stayed on fiscal discipline, Nigel Clark is giving away our resources, right, to external interests, you understand, who also sponsored IMF. People, you need to get it. So then, of course, hey, IMF, you know, we really can't make democratic socialism surface, you know, because if democratic socialism surface, you know, I hear Mark Golding you understand, handling a policy line that, you know, we don't like, you know. The policy line that he's handling now, he's talking about, you know, renewable energy, right? You know, we want that too, you know. We want to have interest in renewable energy, JPS, you understand? Japan, right? And Korea, right? Okay. They are there, right? And they are in line with our principles, right? And, you know, they are supporting the IMF. So, I mean, we can't go against them guys, right? We can't. What you want to do away with JPS? Even although JPS is now suppressing the people of Jamaica. You understand? I mean, I am not putting it up, you understand, to talk about certain light year fluid and what they are talking about. That is why I put it up. JPS upon the people and bill. The padding of bill. Now let us look and show you people. Open your eye. Let me open your eye again. In 2015, here's the clear lie to show you that Andrew Holness is a definitely capitalist, and not only that Andrew Holness is a capitalist, Andrew Holness undermined the people of Jamaica, because to Andrew Holness believed that the masses are dunce. Let me tell you why Andrew Holness believed that. Andrew Holness came out in 2015, people, and said that he's going to bring in, remember this, he's going to bring in the major big electrical companies to do what? Bring in the big electrical companies so that they can give JPS competition, and so then the high cost of energy, you understand, based on the competition, it will drive down the high cost of energy. Let me tell you something. Of all the lies that Andrew Holness is telling, that is one of the biggest lies. Now, when Andrew Holness said, don't give the People's National Party any chance for them to win and that prize upon you, Andrew Holness was talking about himself. That if he win, he's going to throw poison on you. Let me show you the poison, the first poison where Andrew Holness throw. Andrew Holness know that he cannot bring in any big major companies in Jamaica. Why, people, he cannot do that? He cannot do that because JPS has a monopoly. JPS has a monopoly. And if he question to be asked, Nigel Clark patches aside of me. Yeah, unpatriotic opportunities are its pre-deal. Exactly, Wayne. Pre-deal.
Somebody just like me, I have to ask a question for him, you know. See there?
Yeah.
See there, Wayne asks his question for me. You know,
Yes.
Yeah. All right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look at this. So look at this, people. So when Andrew Holness, right, telling the Jamaican people, right, that is one of his promise that he was going to bring in major, right, electric companies.
Yes.
Andrew Holness know that he cannot do that because JPS has a monopoly.
I'm a talk about me now, coach your brother. Me couldn't come like back it up. Andrew just say it, you know, say it from the evening and say we are using one word. So it's not, I know my word, I know a mystic word. So you have to finish it, but me could play Andrew Holness now. Can't say we like do it, you know. So we have to do it like yes.
The Labour Party will make sure that we put in place more efficient electricity generating plants to bring down the cost of electricity to you. I don't like to make promise. I make commitment. And under the Labour Party government, we are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big power plants. We are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big energy companies that can put the money in here to build the plants to give you cheaper and better electricity.
Let me say something before you come up, because remember I'm tough saying him a careful and talk, because we are use a strategy we use and hold him by bird. Now you raise it, you throw my finger quick as a producer, as a you know, as a audio engineer, as a studio engineer. You know, say my thing and my thing this, yeah? Yes. Because you know we're full of profession. More than what some people feel. Because you know them just stick like around here, right?
Yes.
You know, to see attack and come match at the same time. Right? But I'm not killing some of that one. But let me say something to you.
Have the clip upon standby.
Yeah, I just a book me up. I know what's over there. I just say for one people them see where you are say. Because that is not your word. So you
No.
Then you understand you can't.
No, give it that.
Make your point. Not only that. Yeah, you can't finish, make your point.
Yeah.
See? Because this is I'll give my next one about electricity, you know. But not only that, hear this. Every 4 years, when he promised this in 2015, 2016, brother, right? If you find 2020 election come and them not do this, you have to hold him to a cold feet. You know why?
Yes.
Same like our sister P come in 2012 and him win back. And you shall make our plans them, but him win in 2016. So for the first term, when you not do this, much as then we up in the second term, it I don't know. We know why you're nothing from you. Because you make commitment. But your commitment after the first term, you make so much promises. Instead of promises, no, I make commitment is the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the same thing, brother. You understand? The man is dangerous. Very dangerous.
Very.
Pick the people then for win election and I work for the big boys then. We don't know it, Ronya.
No more. No more of that, my brother.
Yeah, continue beating on the same line. Can we just play it?
Yeah. So when you look in terms of him, you understand, showing the first poison, right, on the people of Jamaica. Now, when Andrew Holness won, right, then of course him start to spread the poison. Now, people need to understand the core move what Andrew Holness moved towards giving his member of parliament 200 and 300% raise. Right? Now, if you look on one of the policy that Andrew Holness had done, because Andrew Holness knew very well that he was under investigation between the timeline of 2006 to 2009. So I'm going to show people something. So judging to the fact that Andrew Holness knows this and knows that illicit enrichment, you understand, is the order of the day. And it is the illicit enrichment that is going to carry down his government. Andrew Holness and, of course, is 48 Alibaba and the 40 thieves, of course, right? Draft up policy saying to the Integrity Commission that anything that you are investigating, you cannot speak on it, right? Or make any mention of it to roughly about 70 years. People are not joking, I'm making up. People, this is not joking.
That's true. That's true, yeah, man. That's true, man.
Andrew Holness, you understand, passed that policy that they cannot speak on it for 70 years. Why Andrew Holness did that? So then in 70 years' time, you understand, if you are to calculate it, because Andrew Holness is a calculated pilferist. What Andrew Holness has been trying to do, right, is to look into the future and want to clean his corruption. People, let me say this to you. Andrew Holness looking into the future to clean his corruption. No. The 70 years, if no one should talk about the illicit enrichment, and by that generation might be picking up on certain arguments and certain synopsis of history. And when they look at what Andrew Holness done, it would have seemed that Andrew Holness' salary could justify, you understand, what he had done. And so then Andrew Holness taking that 200 and 300% raise, you look at it 70 years from now, you understand, and to say, okay, all right, his house valued 200,000 at the time, you understand? But people need to understand that the 200,000 house being valued, Andrew Holness wasn't even getting the 200 and 300% raise. Andrew Holness' pay was only about, roughly about $7 million. So there is no way, you understand, that could explain. But lacking the history, lacking the information, and then 70 years' time that you view this, right? I just said, someone, new investigator said, okay, then let us look at the man's salary. They're talking about a 200,000 house. How much the man was getting a year? And if they utilize the 200 and 300% raise, it would have now looked like Andrew Holness, you understand, could use, might be, 4 years, you understand, to create that based on the pay that he is getting and Juliet Holness is getting. People, see how Andrew Holness is working. See how Andrew Holness is working. Now, the obvious reason, you understand, as it relates to the whole thing just look bad as it relates to capitalism, crony capitalism, JLP, you understand, and IMF interest. The whole thing just look bad. They know that what Andrew Holness has been doing is a level of corruption. But again, they don't have any interest to stop the Jamaica Labour Party government because they are getting the cookies. They are getting all what they need to get. You understand? So everything now being sold out now to them. Just look at it. And so then let us think as it relates to the manipulation. Let us quickly shift to JPS. You want to make sense here? Now, if JPS should be allowed to continue and JPS take on renewable energy, what is going to happen to Jamaican people? What is going to happen to Jamaican people? Right now, if Jamaica can transform itself from fossil to renewable energy, you will see how much people, right, get such a relief. Such a relief. You will see how the purchasing power and the middle class, you understand, will get a relief. The middle class will increase their purchasing power. Let me ask you a question. You think they don't know that? You think they don't know that?
Yeah, no, man.
You think it's impossible, you understand, for you to go to for the country to convert to renewable energy? The country can take less than 1 year to do that.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
Don't move around because you don't stick something. Don't move. But if the government didn't mean anything good, right? You see the light bill when they have to pay. Because remember them have to pay. Local government have to pay. Local government tax. Local government have to pay for the lights. When the light pole, even if the light out or not.
Exactly.
Why don't we just put some solar?
Exactly.
And then save the country billions right there.
Exactly.
And then use the money they're spending on some other things.
Exactly.
You know that people can produce. Because we don't energy that be the right way, not we can produce and we can match. Even in the Caribbean, brother.
Yes.
Even in the Caribbean. And we can start selling back a product now because we can produce at a minimal level, you know. You're cheaper, you know, you're cheaper rate to use to use the electricity. Why they not do that?
But it is not the interest for the economic hitman to develop any black nation. You understand? Either in Africa or in the Caribbean. The objective of the economic hitman is to always suppress these countries to keep them underdeveloped so that it can enrich Europe and Europeans. Now, people, you have to remember that the American society, particularly the white Caucasians of America, they are originally from Europe. Most of the Americans, you understand, that we have in the United States, you understand, if you trace their ancestral ship, they are Irish. Irish. Majority of them are Irish. So you have to understand the mindset. You understand of wanting to. So look. Ask yourself the question: why Africa? Why Africa is so rich as a continent? Africa is the richest continent on earth. Let me say this: people, do your research. Go and do your research. But yet, Africa continent is the poorest. So then ask yourself the question: why Africa have all of these early resources that are so valuable in the position of Africa, but yet they are so poor? Because Europe, IMF, World Bank, you understand, have interest to develop the black nation. No, because if the black nation fully develop, Europe itself will fall and they will suffer.
Don't move, Byron.
For us, for their development.
Don't move, Byron.
Simple.
Don't move. So Africa, richest nation. And some people that say me by richest, none of them have the money. Listen, the money I just print, about them said value, you just in a year it said value, you know. But money it said have no value, you know, where the government them said value. But remember, richness are with the resources. You put can't eat the paper, the money can't eat, you know. The money can't eat. So them have everything. Everything where if we go in a computer, everything about the gold, the oil, the silver, everything them have, the diamond, everything. But tell me one now. When you devalue the look of money, you trick them and make them fight against each other and they gun them reach down there and all kind of things weak. But you think of Africa, if you put America, you put China, you put Canada, you put UK, you put Germany, Africa still has space in it. No matter what you look on the map. And watch how Iceland look. After them drive, I say, oh, when it go down there, so it gets smaller, it not to get no smaller. Exactly. Them can drive, but it look too dominating Panama for a black continent. Them drive in that size. Remember me, I tell you this. They make Iceland look bigger and I tell you, oh, can you imagine ever map? You have a paper, brother, and you have draw upon it. And you make Iceland up there look huge, like a continent. I make Africa just look like a thing. And all these things, the whole of America, the whole of United States, including Alaska.
Yes.
The whole of America and Canada. But Canada bigger than US in a land size, right? And you put China in it too. And put UK and Germany, and Africa still have more space to check it.
Exactly.
They're not to the right size and everything. Them just put a kind of little thing and use a slave mentality and hold it down. And you just show a little part with some wild animal and they think the people them, indigenous people them. So them create some little man and two little other things that South Africa stay. You know why I go there? Most people see Africa no want to go there.
Exactly.
Me I tell you this. Because the mind game.
Yes.
This continent. Can't remember, you know, there is a continent and below, you know.
Exactly.
But it below. Africa, the land, you notice, which other part of the world is so much great animal.
Exactly.
You have too much another lion and tiger, so you have walrus, you have hippopotamus, them thing the beginning. Elephant, look how huge elephant is. But then there are human yesterday, look how much people, over 1 billion people in Africa, 1.5 billion same way. And land the same way, you know. See? So, you know, even upon the map, they don't have to try it, so brother. Them could have tried the right way. They must say, oh, hear what them said to you. Oh, because the land said, the earth has set no way for you dry it, so.
Yes.
That Iceland looks so huge.
Yeah.
Africa looks so small.
Yes.
But all these countries where just start can drop in Africa and left space. See? It have the resources. It have resources, but they're not tapping all now. It have it. But you just make them fight each other and divide and rule them. So you're right, Mystic.
Yeah.
Don't have to keep it real, no, don't do no research.
You have to keep it real, yes, because if you look on how the academics, you understand, change and define how they look on blacks. So let us go to the dictionary. Now let us paint black to be evil. So then, what are they saying? They talk about blacklist, blackout,
Yes.
black market,
Yes.
and you name it. Anything
Black Friday.
Yes, anything adjectival black, you understand, as the concept of negative. Be negative. Anything adjectival black. Blacklist, blackout, and so forth. Now, people think, you understand, as it relates to how they want to shape the culture, you understand, and re-click the culture as it relates to how, you know, black needs to be perceived. Now, but hear the reality now of the truth. Now, many people don't know that the first university that existed, the first university that existed is Timbuktu, right? The first university that existed, black university. Let us back up in history to show how black people powerful and great. And this is what they fear. You understand that over the evolution of time, you understand, they try, you understand, to reduce us to zero. If you look at the Egyptian,
I'll tell you.
It was the Egyptian who created mathematics. Not only that.
Don't move. The Bible, what they must study, and them say Egypt. Egypt away. Africa.
Exactly.
All of them down the all the part where them say Middle East. So remember when Egypt, you notice Israel connect back to Egypt. That's all. One land. Yes, Egypt, Africa.
Exactly.
And look at that, them teach you, teach about Russia. About some of that, teach about Egypt.
Exactly.
It's not Africa.
So when you look on the creation of blacks, now one of the world's greatest wonder, even up until today, is the pyramids.
Pyramid, yeah.
And the Sphinx.
Yes, and the Sphinx.
The Sphinx, the pyramid, and that was the first set of skyscraper.
Exactly.
Back in the days, yes.
All right. Now, we have gone through the slave triangle, right? Been there, done that. They think that, okay, all right, would have been eliminated and suppressed. But in spite of all of what we have gone through, same place here in the United States, because remember, what people need to understand, that it is in the state of Georgia where slavery was constitutionalized. People, you need to understand, read the history. Now watch this. But when you look, right, as it relates to black people, right, coming through the whole passage of slavery, but able to rebounds and rebounds and rebounds and rebounds that even today they cannot understand why we still survive. Now, I am going to show you the ultimate wickedness as it relates to what transpired against black. In the United States, right here, we have the Black Wall Street. But the naysayers, the haters,
them destroyed.
Destroyed.
You know what they mean, destroyed?
So when you
witness,
yes,
bad mind.
Yes.
Then you one little youth and
exactly.
Someone a white girl,
yes,
black raper, and them come to me as black man, and you see what them do? Them burn and mash up and
burn down the city, carry mayhem because the development of black.
Yes.
Now, let me do some fundamental history for people.
Yes.
Now, I mean, when you look on the space warfare between Russia and America, and Russia appears to be winning, putting men, you understand, in space, in the orbit, and the United States want to win that situation, to have influence, satellites up there doing what they do and have control and command. Who gave them the opportunity to do that? 4 black women. 4 black women. In spite of all their knowledge, in spite of them trying to say that they are on top of things and they are the best educators, they couldn't figure the formula directive, you understand, to make sure a rocket shoot out through the stratosphere, the exosphere, and the ionosphere, you understand, reach into the orbit of space, right? But these 4 black women, utilizing history on them, created such formula to send America in space. Am I lying?
No.
So when you look at black people, and I'm not saying, I'm not bashing white people. That's not what I'm doing. I am speaking the truth. They idealize Einstein. You understand? Talking about IQ, Einstein IQ. And they're not speaking about people in Africa who is far younger than Einstein in Einstein days, have a greater quotient in IQ. They're not speaking about those things. But yet, we have Africans, you understand, that top the quotient IQ level, greater than Einstein. So what I am saying, people, that black people, all nations, regardless of how they want to twist it, turn it, it is from us they came. Bear that in mind, and I yield back.
Yes, and you know what? You are coming now. But you know what? To our one people, them eat if sell out. Hear them sell out now. It's like if you are the something, I'm here the something, you have a disagreement, then them you are going to be enemy to get rid of you. And then you get the black. So you know them dangerous. Our one people very dangerous, you know. You know? You see, if them that unite, then not care what them do. If them mankind build gun, you know, say now use it for your brother and them things, so you only use it, eh? Exactly. You understand? You only use a weapon of mass destruction for your brother. But our people them from long time before, you know, like back in the slave time, then when you have the old slave and the field slave. Now people don't know so the slave them coming like cattle. Yeah, back in those time.
Yeah.
You're right.
Brannan.
You get with the name and everything on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then them make sure them know when you get educated, because if you get educated, them know say, hey, you get wise up and start team up and think different. So that's why I treat you like an animal. Yeah. And then have mandingo that are the bigger. Can remember tell you still, you know, them feed them, you know. Some of the feed say you never get, whenever carry them across the bigger passage door, them no people starve and thing. But when you go over, you have to them treasure now. Because you have to run them feed, them can sell you too. And then breed you up to like that and sell you. Them sell you. That's why you have Black Friday. Them sell your brother.
Yes.
Then after and then you have the horse one, then no. Can you remember you have the horse slave them and then that's why them have the knights, watchmen, famine at the 1700.
Exactly, yes.
After the rebellion, I told Jamaica constable force, you know. It's the one, you know.
Yes.
That's that and build something and stop about that force thing there. And we have the
you're right.
You understand? Yes,
right.
guys.
Yeah. Yes, now, you know, as it relates to great invention and greatness amongst the black people, one of the small things that exist that people would look at and say, that cheap, that small. The filament in our light bulb. that was invented by a black man from Africa. And that's a great thing. That's what gives the world light.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
Yeah. But we have to look at why the black race is being suppressed. The black race being suppressed because we are small-minded. Yeah? And we can be easily bought.
Yes.
And we like to manipulate it, and we like to sell.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. So when, the wealthy Westerners them come, we give them everything because of paper that they call money. So we've been giving away all our knowledge, all our great invention, telephone, aeroplane, all these things. With gold, with diamond, with oil, everything we give away. Because we do not understand what it is to retain our value. Our value is what would have uplift us as a nation worldwide and let us have a voice that is stronger than any voice in the world. But because we are so hell-bent and, looking down at our toe and not looking in front of us, we fall short of the target and we've been held at ransom. The strongest nation on earth being held at ransom. And as it relates to even genetics, I mean, we can stand the force of the sun. The Westerner, they couldn't. They have to get the pigment from the black race so that those people can survive. But yet still, in modern time, we are still lagging way behind.
Yeah.
It's down to this. It's down to the leadership within the black countries. I don't think I've seen a black leader that has come up with the initiative to rise a particular black country to stardom. But if we even look at sports, and the Olympics, on the track and field, that you have to utilize your own body mass, your strength. Black people dominate that aspect of sports. So it's no coincidence or rocket science why we are the greatest people on earth, but has nothing to show for it. But as I said, I won't be here when it happens, but it will happen when the world is going to return back to its rightful owner. But going back to Jamaica and the Prime Minister and what he put in place in order to control the masses of the people and to, make leverage for his corruption. First and foremost, time limit and case should never be something that passed in Parliament. Gag order and information should never been passed in Parliament. So this is where Jamaican society fall down and allow this barbaric regime to come in with a lot of hanky-panky scheme and hold the country at ransom and mash up the country. Royal Reid, Fable Williams, and many more should have been behind bars already. And they're using time frame to have these people not being tried for the heinous crime that they have committed on the Jamaican society. Good? The gag order, had this not been in place, would have known the illicit 8. Would have known the illicit 6 first before it becomes 8. So these are two fundamental areas that need to be addressed within the new coming government. These policies have to be revoked and put in place real policy that will enhance transparency within the Jamaican society as it relates to parliamentarian and good governance. Because you cannot have a country running on these type of hanky-panky scheme. It allows for corruption. It allows nepotism, cronyism, and all type of ism. You understand? Yeah. And this is why you could have known drugs than funding a particular party. Now that couldn't happen anywhere else in the world. Because in real democracy, if you get donor for your party, you have to make that available to the press. You cannot just take money from a donor and you don't release the information surrounding the money that you get and who it's coming from. So these are some critical areas going forward that Jamaican have to have at the forefront of moving the country forward. Whatever happens within the society as it relates to parliamentarian and these high officials, even the judges them, we have to have an avenue that can discuss and hold these people accountable for the wrongs that they commit in the society. Until we break down these barriers that I'm just highlighting, Jamaica will never move forward. And what we are doing, if we keep these policies in place, is giving parliamentarian access to destroy Jamaica. So going forward, the new government has a lot of reform that they have to put in place to reshape the whole landscape of Jamaica. No ministry should never fall prey of public funds to the tune of 700 billion Jamaican dollars. And I mean a critical ministry as it relates to the Ministry of Health. Under his portfolio, he should have been in prison a long time. Because the amount of hanky-panky that the Ministry of Health has involved himself in as it relates to an exorbitant fee for something that was in its inception valued at $2 billion and now almost $25 billion it reached. The same Minister of Health, rather than concentrating on the ministry that is appointed to lead, is into importation of rice. And how him become the sole importer of rice in Jamaica? It's unbelievable.
He wasn't the sole one. But him start do a factory. He start the film one. He just call it factory. He start importing. But him another sole one. Other people carry things at school. You understand?
Yeah, but he was the major importer.
We understand them, the whole of them import rice. So I'm not major, but me have to him start import, him get the money from anything.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And who awarded him the license? Where was the bidding process for that license? Who competed for that bidding for that license?
No, but the name nepotism and cronyism, because if you have
yes.
So if you have a company and you go to you run and you go in politics and you win and you're going to cabinet now, definitely they're going to put your thing in a
blind trust.
Blind trust.
Blind trust. So if you not do that, you can't do it, but you in there now, and then you run the next thing. It name chronism and something are going on. You have to get charged for something, man. You have to just go to man. So you have to country front of me. Yes, brother.
Wayne, look at this. As Lyde spoke about Christopher Tufton. I know the reason why I laugh is just that why Jamaicans, right? I'm just saying we Jamaicans. Why we really take that slap in our face? Because you know why? The truth be told is that many Jamaicans don't really understand the politics. Now, if you go on the street tomorrow and someone should do an interview, then first, they will not know that, okay, to avoid nepotism, cronyism, and skullduggery, a politician cannot be in active politics and still have his private business running. Number one, principal standard is not supposed to happen. Because
exactly.
You understand, being a public official can influence your business, you understand, in terms of making money. So that must not happen.
So with friends and family also. So
yes.
Yes.
But it's a friends and family because some have been sister and brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and then some friend where you grew up with, and you start giving them some contract because that equals corruption. You get kickback and everything. So if them have things to safeguard and protect it. But them man break it and nobody not talk.
Yeah, but what I know. So while we are the issue is all right, how the education reach the masses, because many Jamaicans don't even see it as crime. But no, they don't even know that it is a crime. You understand?
Exactly.
So again,
don't move. So why the government, when them say them like educate people to these things, them have JIS where get free to hear but every radio and TV and cable channel in there. Why them don't do a program? Why them don't do some of these things and promote that and tell them what's the crime and that these things are crime and things? Why them not do it? Them promote out some advert and things. JIS and educate the masses. I didn't have to do it because the people them are turning and hold them accountable, right?
I tell you something. Hold on, I tell you something. I saw Fat Mama, Big Fat Mama, you understand, was claiming that he was putting Mark Golding right in the spotlight to say that Mark Golding right have business and put it into a blind trust. So I'm saying, my God, that really dunce coming from Cliff Hughes, because Cliff Hughes really don't know that this is what you understand a government official is supposed to do. And the way of Cliff Hughes, if people can remember that program, the way Cliff Hughes was talking about the blind trust was as if Mark Golding was hiding, you understand, certain things. And, right then and there, you realize that Cliff Hughes doesn't get it.
He don't get it.
And so then, if Cliff Hughes doesn't get it, can you imagine the masses of Jamaica who doesn't get it, so we can break it down for them? Because this, look here, if Christopher Tufton do that in America, Christopher Tufton would have been in prison. If Christopher Tufton do that in the United States, remember me tell you, in foot wet. You understand what I'm saying? In foot with a wet. So then people don't really understand, you understand, in terms of Christopher Tufton, you understand, who, you understand, being a member of parliament, right? And yet operating his business and don't put it in a blind trust.
No, in the start, you know, and I think he didn't have it. In the start, and a matter of fact, and the program and
crazy.
So when this is the first time, not the last time. Yeah, so when we on, you remember the last time we on, right? We talked on. The first time, you know what I'm saying? The money where I get paid. This is before the raise up here. This is the last. Yeah. Him said, "Karen, said them kids them go to school."
Go to school. No, yeah.
But this is a joke to Jamaican people, you know, because when you get at the time last year, $9,000 minimum wage, you might get like 6 million. There are some of that are more. And him said, can't send people to go to school. So, oh, you can send yours to go to school.
Exactly.
And the mom, it's sometimes them talk some things where the secretary say, I want them to hear what them are telling us. I want them listen to themselves. Yeah? So
I don't think so, Wayne.
to you what them are stifle. You see the problem?
Yes.
It's a great problem.
But
yeah, no,
going back to
more to something, right? But I'm going to look at meds with some people, because some people, you know, when you do things, every man responsible for themselves, right? Every man, right? When you do things, come with consequences. I can't blame people and play a victim on here. If me and you, that they were away, you know, we are family, so there was nothing. Let me tell you something, and this is how I grew up. Me remember something like my father told me like 50 years ago. 50. Let me still look at 50 years ago. I'm telling you, if you have an accident, and you eat it 5 hours, I'm at my brother and sister, them where they do on me. If you can't share, it, don't eat it. You have to share it. Right? Yes. I will live by that principle. You understand? So if you like your brother yourself, your wife, and my sister-in-law, them, when I'm a brother.
All right, sir.
I mean, yes, I'm a nephew and niece, them. And this is
same way.
For me, carry car. So there is no way I will violate none of the items. No way, shape, and form. You understand? See? And this when we talk about black people, this is how black people love to. And then them play a blame game. We not go so. That's why, remember, I know every parish in Jamaica. We have a parish. I make enough food and sound system and all kind of things. Go right perhaps. Like a father here, bro. You see? Remember, you know, me can live attacking if I lie. Me I tell you that yes, some man come on. So, Lord, look at this one that. You ever hear a man come on? I back him up and when me attack. When me live out something I anyway at all. I'm not somebody who know me at that bullshit. Who know me, know me. See? If you have to take your own responsibility. Because you have no people that take them responsibility here. If you sit down and make politicians rule your head, that you have to take boss, you then pack up and boss and pay you. That you know that think about back in a slavery days. Because if you don't think that way that you want to take the money, figure up and no boss and make them use and sell no vote and them thing there, you know. Where you get your take? Because it's easy to sell out. You can make people idiots to you for question things. Remember my question up to the Bible. That's what I see.
Yeah, and you have all rights too.
Certain things me not doing no better.
Yes.
I put myself in a people's shoes. Same like when Gregory dead, you know, I'm a daughter godfather, Gregory, right? And Kevin, my son, because we are there and they are over the place. Kevin. And Kevin come at the studio and Kevin has a book. Let me tell you something. Your father did that. I mean, may your father put that me and you know good to your father did that. No man, you are family the same way until we come out of the earth. Because somebody live. Not because Greg you're not there, then you start saying Kevin can't use this something. No, sir. I know my style. See? But this a black people style. Man, we know you personally and set up all the youth them forget. You never know. I'm playing my white man, don't bring that to me. That never in my book. So if you have a man, no care about who, no guy couldn't put on a clock and trick me boy, you know. Come and tell him say my disrespect me.
Exactly.
You understand? You can't hear me, you can't see me. Come and still bring up a next one. You can't see my Byron?
Yeah, me I see.
You see me, all right, me never bring up the other one.
Close out one.
Yeah, all right. You can't see me good. You see me and everything.
Yeah.
All right, good. See? So no man couldn't trick me. The man couldn't put cards. That's a total disrespectful thing. Yeah. You understand? So these are the things that bother we when man say, hey, a white man, you know, they brainwash. Nobody cannot brainwash you.
No.
You want to brainwash yourself, brother.
Yeah.
The things that you don't question, the things that you are following and the foolishness that you don't question and say what this and this. And why you do this. And why you do this. Because I'm going to tell you, you know, everything what happen, you know, it must cast by something. Even if it's small, so. But something happen that you get 100-fold. You know what playing a victim, brother? Because if you never start something, it will not continue, brother, it will not start. You never know. And I remember it takes some little thing but start things in a ghetto. We see a lot of things in a brother. A lot of things we see happen in a ghetto. That enough you get and all kind of things. See where we survive. I mean, the foolishness, we talk to them. When a on a serious base and straight up. You understand? You see me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you have to truth to yourself and you have to take responsibility to man. You
Yeah,
understand?
man.
For them, all right. For instance, not for them in the state now. They might kill them one another over what? Little drugs, some disagreement. When feds are come for them, what them do? Them run left everything.
Everyone left everything and gone.
Them give everything to just save themselves and save the father.
Yeah.
That's what them are get. That make any sense?
No.
You understand,
Absolutely.
Byron?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You understand? You have come on another state and Canada now and UK. You and them are friends from Jamaica. But them come now and them are do little juggling and them say, hey, you know, them do something broke my foot. Number one, you should do nothing for nobody.
Exactly.
And then you just a woman, but him come and him want to kill her, him send a Jamaica and him kill and him start do some foolishness. When Fred want him doing a feds, him run left everything in a better.
Yeah.
And what is in the Uganda, everything. Him lose everything. Woman, this, money, that, and him no mind. But you want him a brethren and not say, yo, you know, so me not deal with him again. So put him one side and forget him. If him hungry, feed him, but you know, so the mentality with black man, it to hold them back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and them need to protect who said something first. I've been a lie. Like a man can, you know, like oh, you know, we know the police force used to stay from a long time because you know my father served, and my nephew them serve, and cousin them serve, and you know, see? So they will come and give a statement where you know a lie, you witness something, and when you hear it back in the day, that's how we stay with the human rights. Sir. You see? Them just come and tell a lie and the case done. I mean, I say, but as black and black, why not do this? Just look on the place how them anger what people them. Look on the video them will come out of Jamaica every day and just look on the angling. Me get one today. A matter of fact, I'm gonna show you the one me just get today. Me have to show you this. Me have to show you the one I want me to get today. Well, me get one today. Them send it to me since evening. Me show you what them send to me this evening. Me have to show you this because I want to touch, and yes, still, this a police. I wait, this is a man the blast somebody. This a police. I'm showing you this. Now I try to take it down there. So. But I'm show you what I talk about, brothers. See, you can't believe this. When you put power in the black people and them abuse it.
Yeah, man.
Stop. It needs to stop. Some man feel him bigger than the world and them thing. That's why I rather stay in my wilderness. Me not too fun away one time. Me not get drawn down in a foolishness. Nah do it. I remember no boy can't brainwash me, you know. None. Let me show you something, brother. Look here. Hear what I'm saying. Let me turn it up and hear what I'm saying after. Hold on. Hear what I'm saying.
So we the market scene and put up the corner and the police are come around the corner. Four cadre of them. Skin lady up front on the bike with the arrogance. Come off of the bike. The man has the breadfruit on him star right there. So notice there is enough space for go around. They might pay for selling at the market. Right? She claims she tell them earlier not to have them cats in the way, right? Okay. So she pull up now and say cats in the way and start to throw off all of the breadfruit there. That's where the people them things off and literally kick it as if she's not a woman and she's not a mother. My lord, we have to step. And our team star, he just come to work, he never have a conversation with her prior to. So the claim she told him to come out with here. That no such thing. Wait a second, I wasn't here when she come through. I wasn't here. Yes. A breadfruit, look up around here, so I come back, in the car, the breadfruit them the pan come. Yes, sir. She kick off the crate off of the car, and you can put them and scrape the breadfruit them. Witness this. I go to the police station and say they don't have nothing at all to do about that. So he must go to Indico. I must go to Indico. And the police say, well, a police woman wouldn't just do that. So right away she had giving her the benefit of the doubt. The people are honest people. Far right work hard in bread. We support them, man, yeah. And we...
All right. So you send it to me personally, right?
Yeah.
When this about that and that, not the evening. Not since even this up. I remember me get everything all over the place. And this, by the way, man of the police, this is a total disrespect. And a woman never get charged for this. This is a foolishness. This is what me talk about abuse of powers. We see it all the time. I'm going to tell police when you are work, you know, if somebody will commit a crime, they will commit a crime against you. They will commit a crime against the state. You're not supposed to be a hard feelings. You're not supposed to take no stress out from people. I feel them are powerful becoming in police. You can't lick with about block your foot and shoot you. I'm going to tell little lie and them let me go. Anytime you clean up that, you get a better Jamaica. One law run, not two.
Yeah.
That's what we believe in, brother. See? So when we fight some spiritual fight and some real fight on it. We don't put the foolishness and the mama last business and them things. We do some real things around here. Titans on here. So this we need to change.
Yeah, man.
In a place where the police now come on here, so my road clean every day. My road cleaner than some plate all down in the place. No disrespect. Water and everything and then sanitize up the road, clean the road. And you know, see rubbish, I mean, I have a skip. And people them cut them land properly and the place good. I mean, I have no grill. You know, live in a prison. You understand? We not see certain things. Anytime but people them get conscious of these things, them talk over some things and stop them foolishness and stop joke and backbite. We know you're not that big man. We don't have no time for the foolishness.
No.
And the blame thing there, we don't have no time thinking on the foolishness, you know. See? Because sometimes people cannot get them way them try to say, oh, now this try because we can't get them way. Remember go to all them enemy. So all right. So if me and you was enemy, like them. Byron. I may say I'm on a par with Uno. You think me here so? Because remember I'm on a par with Uno, me I take him for enemy too, you know. You think him come to me because you say you lied. Your lied was friend now on the turn. Me I want an enemy. And then a man going on and turn an enemy and then he want to come to me. Because remember me I take him for enemy too because I'm a par with Uno, you know. So if him come to me and say boom boom, me will chop him. Come in and trust him.
Yes.
So when they want to hungry you, I say the little thing boy, where you think that? And these are just black people ways. After say me just do something, I'm a revenge, I'm a hurt him. Them stupid brother. And stupid. Let me tell you this, them do something very stupid. Big boys and politicians can wrap them up. That's why the country stay like this. And that's why the world stay like this. Because you have a lot of educated fools. You have a lot of idiot where people can't take and wrap on them fingers and start about bullshit. We know unite, you know. Because that's paid, clubs are clubs. Art and diamond are diamond. And me just start free. You understand? And we are big man. When some little boy, we're super granddad.
Yeah, man.
We don't scare youthfulness because we don't cannot see now we don't use die. We're good. We don't have to use no die. You understand? But we are big man. You understand? Saying? Yes. Because when you go up in a age, you know, the little blessing you just say, you just keep it real on you. Saying?
Yeah.
Real, brother. Saying? There's no time for foolishness. No time for foolishness. That's why a country like our country, because I know, you know, we not see that when man they come in and I do the right thing for them, you know. Remember, nobody never put them through school. All the people, you know, the man come and say, yo, we have to make una understand what we are doing to the kids. We are bringing Jamal into the light. When in the dark, we are in the light. And
yes.
Them. People are nearer to them grave. Them still get a chance to couldn't read that right. And change up the thing as a one thing for one, you know, free education, free health system. And it's free because, remember, nobody now have to tell you, remember, we live through it, you know. They will live through the whole amount of the time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
We live through the whole of the time. We know when them come in. We live through the time. See? So when them come and them spread out things and them do foolishness, like I want to know, brother, that I want to know where he make a bag of promise. And then we hear them and come out now. Hear when him come out and I say yes or no. Him start was JPS and everything. Same thing when you talk. Hear this.
Mr. Vance says despite his outcries and appeals, he feels toothless.
No bite. I only have bark. And I've been barking, I've been writing, and the fact of the matter is that nothing has changed. And the reason for that is because the OUR reports to Cabinet Office. It doesn't report to the minister. Or
this time make no sense for him to say because the cabinet, him a part of the cabinet.
Yes.
Yes, these are the things if people don't listen and understand what educate these things. But then say that him can't deal with one with how you are. Him can't blame the how you are. Him just have to be some. We can't play now when I pick up and start 96% of the thing. And I start and I tell people lie. But two people saying anything like this to me and when me play it knock up them head. So I'm gonna attack JPS. Yes, the JPS switch back from natural gas to diesel, where it like double the time of the market.
Double price.
But from June, and then like
From June.
and him never say nothing to it. So when him run out now, I say blah 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 blah. I say, oh no, sir. You see, for play politics and trick the people, them just get plain, brother.
Exactly.
That we they are tight and they have to expose them. We not beg nothing. Yeah? Yes. And here him have people hear him not my word. Himself him have bark.
Yeah.
No fight.
Himself have no yeah. Him can't go make noise, him can't bite.
Byron, I'm like, what we are paying so much money for?
I don't know.
Right.
That me I say.
Well on there.
Not working.
Yeah, me make a talk, no man, because we the the thing everybody have planned for you tomorrow, you know. Well, I'm gonna put it on speaker. Well on, man. Yo, Ratty.
Yes.
Sure. Well, go on, sir. Well, I tell the people them tomorrow morning a nice this, you know. I worry, you know. All the thing look.
The thing look good, man. We're in the place, yeah.
Yes.
When I get ready for tomorrow, we just finish doing the program. It's going to be a really nice program, the best by far.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
Have some nice speeches and sound system up on top and a nice location. So, you know, and we're out there from 9 till 3. But we're not really get going until about 10:15 because we have to set up and everything like that.
Yes.
And that they will do, you know, because it's supposed to rain, but it's going to finish by 9 o'clock.
Sure.
So you see what I'm saying? But I get some showers of blessings, and then after that, we just launch right now the program. So we're expecting everybody
ready
as a holiday weekend.
Yes. When you hear this holiday weekend, you know, holiday, Byron does say, where's the Byron?
Up and ready, sir.
Byron, I say you up already. Ratty.
Yeah, I mean, man. It's on top, man. We're ready, man.
Yeah, man.
We're ready.
Well, we're going to broadcast early, you know, because
all right.
That's up already, Byron. Because broadcast it, make the people them see where I go and see?
Yeah.
Everything up in.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Well, I'm a virgin mistake that.
Yeah, man, I mistake, man. I lied, man.
Mistake. Oh, what is sensation there? Sensation down there.
Well, I mean, we are chip out earlier morning, you understand, because you don't know the word thing said. So.
Oh, okay.
There was some nappings.
Come on, we're not the big up there. And you know, this is how it goes. That's the thing, we're not sleeping, so you go outside, we're just coming and you're outside and it's like daylight, you know.
All right.
Sure.
So tomorrow, no, we're ready, man. We're ready to really deliver the message to the people and
message
the government, let them know, say, we don't lose track of what going on because there's no thing around here because we still want to know about the illicit heat. We not want to know about the Prime Minister's statutory declaration. We not want to know about what things we want to know about, man. So we're going to keep the fire burning. We're going to keep the people educated, informed, and we're going to entertain them a little bit, you know, because we have a little bit more time than the last time to spend with them. So it's just happy to say, you know, up so.
Sure.
Come down here, son.
All right.
What you mean? Tomorrow I start, you know. Tomorrow up. We have some, tomorrow up. We have some, man. Well.
Tomorrow up, man.
Them are telling out, man. We have some, everybody have to say, yo, I don't know how to sing this, man. Wait, man. Yeah, man. Everybody attack already, man. We have some, man. Great things. The greatest thing I put all them accountable, you know. Yes. Yeah, man.
Yes. So we're going to give them. We had a lovely meeting tonight with some supporters and things like that. Them have some really nice questions, and you know, they want to know how we are move forward with the thing, and you know, to keep them informed so that them can come along as we go along. And we look to them for advice too, because remember, advice and knowledge not just reside in a one place only. You know, each one teach one.
True.
So yeah, so them start giving some advice and things like that, how to move forward. And we really appreciate it, and we look forward to that, because no man is an island. You can't do it by yourself, you know. It's a movement.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, we asked the man. Oh, man. Lied, we asked the blind.
Well,
man.
you know, we just have to endorse, you know, everything that under the stewardship of Ratty. You know, we know I'm saying with a great leader, and we'll keep the fire burning bright. And the intensity and the movement, we acknowledge it and we applaud it, because without such movement, you know them boys down at Jamaica would have a free field there. We must have run and roam the place and mash up the place. But, you know, goodness of us, we are keep them in check, so to speak. Yeah, but we want halt them all together. You know, time for them come to a halt, grind them to a halt. You understand? But, you know, I'll be tuning in tomorrow, Rattigan, and, you know, I know as usual you'll deliver a great speech, you know, and, you know, everything I know Jah will bless everything. But look out for leggings still, you know, that spy.
No, that done, man. Like, you're lucky I give 3 years.
To be honest with you, we leave all of them matters to the police, you know, because NYPD, they're known as the finest. So we have the money on the test tomorrow, because them tell we already say any counter protesters are from 500 yards away from us, and it's only one sound permit them issue, so nobody can come there with a bull on. Them give me permission to bring my group to have 3 bull on, but them say nobody else can come there and use amplified sound. Them can come, stay upon the next block and shout at the top of them lungs, but them can't use no bull on, them can't use no microphone, them can't use none. So we're going to see, we're going to put it to the test tomorrow, because we expect people to go out there tomorrow.
I don't think so, you know.
You don't think so?
Yes.
Them always love send around a little spy, you know, because them like the minion things.
Hold on. If you see Nigel jump ship and sink up Jamaica and cut some big hole in the ship, a man you start and bust some hole and let go some water in the ship and sink it, you know. Instead, you know, that's a Jamaican Ratty. And then him jump off. And that not look like a patriotic thing that. When nurses and things are leave me, they matter about patriotic, brother. More you talk this stuff we discuss tomorrow too, you know. Because where the patriotic is in there, we're gone.
Crazy.
We're gone.
The thing, we have to set it right, you know, because, you know, every day when you look at what the government are doing, it's like it just bring the whole country deeper and deeper into the depths. Because I hear things say, I'm gonna get some information so that the economy have a tank, you know, brother. The economy have a tank, you know.
Yeah.
Soon, you know. That is EOG, I hold it up now. If they are 158 now, the exchange rate, and that's struggle, but they said them soon after they go.
No, them have to let it go. Because it was so when them borrow the $1.8 billion now and him go put it in there, remember, you know, we are pay back that, you know. Remember, you know, that's something with the country earning a better. That's why them borrow and for we have 5.1 or 5.2 billion in a reserve. That is a fake reserve makeup, you know. You see me, I say, Ratty and Mystic and Lied. This is man. They trick the people. Them you have to be real, brother.
Exactly.
Remember, we cut numbers down here, you know. We cut numbers, man. We know put it away there. When them attack and attack them foolishness, I say, who them attack to? And them alone go school that day.
Yeah, no man, we go to school, but that's Sunday school we go, you know.
Oh, them go Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Them all go Saturday and go Sunday one.
But the Sunday school outshine them.
We do color by numbers, you know. Our head don't go make sure we're hot.
Oh, you're not kidding. That's a knock it, man. Not yet, a beat it, man. Eh? Yeah, man.
Don't forget to play the promo, brother.
Me not talk about it straight. We have to make you forget nothing at all, my brother, man. I try to big up straight, man. I try to go and big up straight, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, you know it already. Promo for run, man. Same? So we have to tell the people them come out, man, and who call us them out, man, and everything. We have to say, brother, man. Everything up, man. Everything up. We are going to knock it. We're going to... Yes.
Lala Byron and Los, whoever else is here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You don't know, Ratty. Enough blessings, my brother.
That's why I like on the bigger plane now. No worm around here. Okay, you know, sometimes African worm.
All right, sir.
All right, brother. Later, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, man. Cool. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, man. You know, so tomorrow night. Yeah, you know, I'm at at in the morning.
In the morning.
It was like 8 hours and 55 minutes. Some now, you know, so things kick off. Yeah.
Kick off, yeah.
Things are kick off them time there. And then, you know, so I'll be a night. And go right up to 3. When you can't miss that, go up till 3. Because there's the thing there, you know. You understand? Yeah. And then Saturday, you know, so we have retreat. And yeah, we have family fun day. So we have things there, you know. We never see it's like we carry that life too, you know. Yeah. You understand? That I carry life. Yes. Yeah. So when you know, say 8 hours and add. When you get ready from now, you know, because up there's a big kick up. What you talk about, man? No matter of fact, let me just drop my dry it up right now. I'm play too, like got to say, you know. Yeah, so saying yes. And then next week Sunday now, you know, so we have we know so we have you know, so we have no drop this too. Drop this too. This the next week. So I'm look for that one and dry it up. We drop the 2 of them. Dry them up right now, brother. Before we knock out, because you know, let me see this. Yeah. I'm not going to draw. Yeah, man. The amount of things when we drop here, so it's unbelievable, you know. You see me as a Byron?
See it.
Yeah, man, the amount of things when we have to drop right after. Yeah, me just front of me full of things, you know. Some people, me just type in one, yeah. Right. All right, this is a party on deck. This is a next week Sunday too, you know. Watch it. All right, so we don't know that next week Sunday, so we can play that one. Yeah. Right down back in because all right. So I play that one. Remember this is tomorrow here. We could do that one, you know. We could do that one, yeah. Yes. So this, we don't know, so this is next week Sunday, you know, party and deck. This is one of this is last year show. This is last year show. Yeah, party and deck here. And this show, yeah, yeah, man, because you know, every year to year thing, you know. I have 80s, 90s and them thing that you know. Yeah, man. See, you see the thing that nice, don't it?
Yeah, man. Next year, we'll come on deck, you know.
Settings look good.
The next year, we'll come on deck.
Yeah, next year the party and deck after have the pandemic. The whole Titans have the on the party and deck next year.
Jamaicans should raise their voice in concert.
One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation invites all Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica to raise our voices in protest against corruption, crime, poverty, failed health care, poor education, and more injustice taking place in Jamaica. This takes place on Friday, August the 30th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this takes place at the Jamaican Consulate at the corner of East 41st Street and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan, New York. Remember, all Jamaicans and all friends of Jamaica, come and raise your voices in protest against all injustices taking place in Jamaica. Let's all come out in support to make Jamaica a better place.
Thinking Jamaicans should raise their voice in concert.
One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation invites all Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica to raise our voices in protest against corruption, crime, poverty, failed health care, poor education, and more injustice taking place in Jamaica. This takes place on Friday, August the 30th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this takes place at the Jamaican Consulate at the corner of East 41st Street and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan, New York. Remember, all Jamaicans and all friends of Jamaica, come and raise your voices in protest against all injustices taking place in Jamaica. Let's all come out in support to make Jamaica a better place.
So I don't know, well, them come out in that jokes. I don't have to tell them that, you know. Them know. All right, so me just turn to my computer, me just see, somebody just say something right now, yeah. Wow. So it seems, yeah, you need glasses to protect your eyes using computer so often. Okay, I know one I use now, then I'm give a little. Quick look at computer, one more there. See this? So may I use? See one there. See one over there. I may have one, the other one, I can't upstairs, you know. Four may use, man. 4. No one computer. Say often. 4 may I use, man. Yeah. So me have 4. Use 4, yeah? So if you need glasses, yeah? And so many need glasses. Well, I'm good. Yeah, man. See? Yeah, man. I'm good, man. Yeah, them good, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, them good, man. And then we use them here too. Yes. Yeah. Use 2 of them there too. So we use 4 of them, yeah, and 2 iPhone. Yeah, man. So, then 6 devices, yeah? Yes. Yeah. You see? Yeah, young one. You see? And then I mean, I use it. Mama Angie, she do share one thing them to, you know. She share them to, yes. Body of them one thing. Body of them one thing. So that's my thing. We just like, yeah, now I give them a quick look, you know, review, yeah, man. See my thing set to me. Yeah, them good, man. And we are doing it for years, so we're good. If I come and sit down in the studio and you see me for years and advice, I computer me will see me too, you know. Because when I use the wheel, you know, we use the computer, but when we don't put the monitor up. You know, up. And the work, you look on it weird. So me look like this in my eye, I can carry it up. And let me advice, like me just, you know, notice on me. You know, yes. If you want to see that, just to permit me have a wrap up in it, but here this. We have a, let me show you now look at touch of this. Let me show you a look at touch of it. Let me show you now look at touch of it. I have a podcast I just do yesterday. Let me show you a look at touch of my podcast. So the podcast, I have the whole of them here. All right, see podcast right there. Show the podcast. Well, on podcast. All right, so let me show them the podcast. I'm going to touch it. Look at the podcast. Hold on. So this the next podcast I'm just deal with yesterday. Let me show them it. Without seeing look. Can't see it? That one there with me and Toots. I want you. That is that one, yeah? Some of those like when I should have worked them I want to know a justice kind, but I want a podcast they Toots me and Merciless, right? So you go there, you see it, and then you hear drop up with my sound system and everything. But you see me a vibe. So you see everyone on a favorite reggae artist and veteran artists and thing when I see them in a real life. You know, who pass and gone and thing, you know, just see a record, you know. So that's the part where I just touch it and show them how we are talking. This is the podcast. All right, touch this. Play all. So let's press play all. All right. This will come with the advertisement first. So I want to move that. All right. Let me skip this. And then I make them hear what I want. Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Come for done. All we have to do is send for the new dub. Any sound test dead. Wayne Lumsum fly off those lead. Now I big up the man like Wayne Lumsum Junior. Big up yourself to the maximum now. Cause some sound boy most of them not come in here. Yeah man, anytime them try test to run things, you don't know say you gotta read about them pussy they dead in the morning cleaner. You don't know, sir, if I used to cut the ranks, you know, so I'm 4-time of a legend, I'm a senior. But I one thing you tell them, I want to make it hot. Mama Angie, tell them. Duck a dill, 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 another sound get killed. Duck a dill, 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 them better sign them will. Duck a dill, 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 them get up, pies up hill. Duck a dill, 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 sign on the will. Them one tie, them one tie. They cover them funeral, and I know, say. We and Lonesome is a general, them one tie. They come at them funeral, and I know, say. Lonesome Junior is a general. Give me sound by sound, we are gonna shoot them down, send to a chainsaw. Take out them tongue, give me sound by sound, we are gonna shot them down, send to a chainsaw.
Get that one here. If it come up.
We in Lonesome, we are beat it till the hammer burn. We not make them get in at them and again. None of them boy that we not honor them. Some things we will rise up the bomb of them. Tell them I beat it till the hammer burn. Now make them get in at them and again. None of them boy that we not honor them. Lonesome rise up the bomb of them. You want to surround things? Watch them with us, Father Lumsum. Watch them with us, Wayne Lumsum Junior. Watch them. I'm going to watch them, Wayne Lumsum. Keep burning. Mama and Jake. Everything I blaze. Wayne Lumsum. Tell them it's the ranting sound. Tell them on the gun thing. Alright again. I want them tall like Blue Mountain Peak. Anytime them bust them make people blood leak. Stop boy break and lock off them heartbeat. Now them get a permanent sleep. Lonesome on them tall like Blue Mountain Peak. Anytime them bust them make people blood leak. Stop boy break and lock off them heartbeat. I know them get a permanent sleep because we gun them turn up. Whole place a burn up. Anything with this Lonesome them a go thumb up. Anytime you're ready, good boy, well you feel run up. Don't make we check with 4 Magnum up. We not heal people left we no send them bung up. Well we got the bodies thing around anytime.
Give them some more. Well, I'm gonna play our next one for them. So them have been no.
Litter Robot has now solved the litter box problem for.
So this now is one of those full out I watch here. Watch it.
Sound, the run things international sound. The champion sound, the man called Wayne Lonesome Junior. Father Lonesome, Swayne Lonesome, and Mama Angie. Listen, I say one big family. When sometimes come to music business and a guy try to test the big that sound run things. Come in, singer man.
Yeah, man. Father Lonesome, man. Run things every time, everywhere. See, watch it. Run things are number one, a place splice them. No. Original sound around. If I ever tell you about Father Lonesome, you say I don't know what I know. Watch how we murder them now. Watch ya. Murder them now. Murder some clown. Mama Angie. Murder them now.
Watch you know the name. You got somewhere one contest where you try to test wrong things you want content and bury. You got somewhere one contest where you try to test Father Lonesome you content and bury sound come up. You got somewhere
want confess when you try test wrong things, you want the damn baby. Pick it up. You got to want confess when you test your champion, you want the damn baby.
We get next. Let me get about 2 more now. That's 2 more nights. This night,
Big up. Run things international with Father Lonesome, Wayne Lonesome Jr., Swain Lonesome, Mama Angie. I tell you, you know.
Whoa, yeah. Action, international sound. Running, I am run the down. Action, international sound. Running, I am run the down. Run things you are so fine. Stop playing with my mind. Run things you boy. You run the dance every day. Some boy, you're gonna get slayed.
I get one more. That's one more I get. One more I get. See that? The last one I get them in a better. Me know them I want the next one. Tell them to go watch it. Cause you know, them I forgot. I'm gonna skip that one, yeah. And look if you know them artists too. Well, yeah, look at them. Look here.
Yeah, me know we ain't loan some to them boy, loan gunshot them get, loan dub plate, loan bullet. Yeah, me know we ain't loan some June, I want to them folia. I want to be a girl we have in them room. Yeah, me know Mama Angie, I want to them boy, I move like Stangy. Yeah, they come and show them. Oh, them don't know I'm the king of fire, merciless. Warrior alongside the prophet. Some boy you hype up them to stop it. Yeah, show to I go show. Alright then, run things the one on name show. Attack them with the rifle. Well, this a bullet, I go make boys stifle. Yo, again, can't take me one cycle. Find out some madness, not for recycle. No one you know. Attack them with the rifle. Gunshot, I go make boys stifle. Yo, again, can't take me one cycle. Find out some madness, not for recycle. Yeah, me no run things. Only can buy out the warrior. No trailer out the warrior. No better send your mother country, cry out the warrior. You better take a plane and try fly out the warrior. Pascal me go use and take some guy out the warrior. The son of it, Janja out the warrior. Them use me the killers and all the tries by out the warrior. Lock up in the house and all the tries out the warrior. Teflon we use and take some guy out the warrior. When them want this, me tell them say no bother. Worship them see me with the real zigzagger. Go again them this them I go get the wagga wagga. Whoa! From one clip to another. My one them tall like the ladder. Say them fly through brains and bladder. Say them fly through heart and dagger. Hi! Me realize the boy them go vocalize war. Walk with.
Hold on, Lord. Hold on. But we don't look.
Hold on.
We're gonna look for the podcast. That's bad. Yeah, you see, my thing, my tell us my thing historic, you know. So, me just give them a win on this.
Yes.
But I can set about something where you have some, you know, one of favorite artists. When we are work out, you know, think, just think about it. Just think about it.
Yeah, man.
And come right up. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We do everything, man. We do everything, man. You see? So you see the whole veteran them come up. You see them. Just protect your own, man. Someone put up a podcast there, but you see them yourself, sight and sound, you know. I'm not saying, yeah. But try to put something good there, you know, brother. So it there, you can't move them thing there, you know. So you want it, you look for teach them, who you look for John Wood, you look for Ken Boo, them and the one just go look, Derek Mark and the one them there. Just go see them there. See? So I have more than one of them podcasts that I put out. The one thing you see them, you know. See? Then man, just look on them. Look on a cut rank. You see, mark 7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And you have some people take it and use it like it have over 100 million views. Yes. Because if you look on them Twitter thing, you know, because what them do, them go on my site and they just set them and then we put them up all over the place. You know? And like some you come from Africa and say, Mr. Lonesome, we love you down here, you know.
Yeah.
We have to win with Tata. Because them take them like this and then use them, you know. You understand? Yes.
True.
So we not look fear man them thing, man. We're good, man. I mean, we only have some comfortable.
Now for people 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, so.
All right. So when you hear this, Titans them are knock off, you know, so we just come in and run down. So hear this.
Yeah.
Go out, yeah? Bless us.
All right. Blessings.